And
Maybe.
we are live, and we have some people in the chat already. LJ and Rainbow Fright. Hello. So, good evening, and welcome to a kind of idea of my gorgeous girlfriend's. Jen Mitchell. She had an idea about doing a stream on her hot takes, and this might be something that could be kind
A
of
thing?
continued. Yeah.
It could be a trend. Yes.
It could be a trend, but Dice brought up a kind of topic for it on kind of hot takes about the horror genre itself.
Mhm.
So I'm not the biggest horror fan, so I'm going to let Jen steer this, and Jen
Oh,
kind of
God.
fucking
We're all in trouble.
run
Stepping
it.
in.
Fuck it, sure. At this stage, hey, my channel's still up, and some of the shit you came out with were fucking grand. Like, so, babe, what is it that you think should we kind of tackle or discuss during this stream?
Well, it's going to be a no sensory thing allowed. Like, whatever everyone wants to discuss, there's not going to be anything off limits. I have a few ideas, but I want to hear everybody else. But I thought we would start with something a little bit easy, a little bit, because I know everybody has at least one horror movie, and if you have more, please throw them out there, that everybody else seems to just fucking love. They just, if it was a dick, you'd just be like, "Wah," you know, or a boob, whatever gets you hot.
Down
right?
in the glizzy. Yes.
Yes.
What did I come back to?
And we're
whatever-
1 minute 42 seconds in, and you still haven't beat your fucking record yet. But go for it, babe.
But anything that like everyone else just really fucking loves, but there's movies that we kind of think, really, guys? Everybody has one that is, everyone else really loves. So I think we'll start out with movies that is beloved, but maybe not to us. And I'm sure we won't piss off anybody.
No, everybody's
That's my
very
whole purpose.
level-headed, you know.
I mean, the
purpose
horror
of life.
community is the most well-balanced community people I've ever fucking encountered.
What the fuck does that mean, Marty?
Nothing,
No, I
babe,
actually
nothing.
think that's true. I think that's true.
No,
compared
no.
to like my mind is going Marvel DC, but I know there's more comic books besides Marvel and DC, but the comic book community can be very toxic.
Oh, yeah.
And also there's good and bad both in Star Wars and Star Trek fandoms. I think horror we're way more chill. I think out of all the fandoms, we're the most chill.
Yes.
No. All joking aside, actually, Lady Sasha, I was surprised when I first kind of got into the community. There's so many nice and loving people, and the horror fans are so fucking nice and friendly and cuddly. But I do find it can get very tribalistic sometimes and very cliquey. But then again, that's every fucking community. But anyway, sorry, babe, I cut across you.
No, that's fine. This is not a polite thing. This is just a free for all. Let's start with you, because I know you, Velvet, my offspring. You don't have any horror hot takes or movies.
Clearly not, and I don't mean to offend you, because very obviously by your attire, you're a massive fan of it. But like the most well known for me is obviously like the Scream franchise, and Scream 6. I like Scream 6. That was
until you didn't.
Well, it has issues, but and Scream 6, but like the whole Scream series, just I never have really gotten the appeal of with it. Sydney's a really smug and unlikable character for me.
Jesus, already.
I never really liked the writing or most of the thing. Like there's bits and pieces. Like I love Billy and Stu from the first movie. There's elements from some of the
totally
other franchises.
Not gay.
Yeah. There's some other elements from some of the other ones that I don't mind. Kirby's a cool character, but like as a whole, I just never got the love that the Scream franchise has so much, really.
And if anyone would like to chime in with either agreeing or not agreeing, feel free.
I agree. I feel like
really okay.
a better send up of slasher movies is Student Bodies. Yes. I always love Student Bodies over like all the praise that Scream gets should go to Student Bodies.
Agree, 100%.
That's a great take. Do you want to piss off other people? Because I know you have a few.
I mean, I do, but I'm sure some of the other ones will just kind of come out over the course of the stream, probably.
Okay. We'll go to Dice now. I'm very interested. What do you got, Dice?
Well, on the subject that you brought up, you want to talk about pissing a particularly unstable group of people in the horror community off. I appreciate, understand, and all that shit for this particular movie, but I've never understood the outright love, adoration, and to the death defending of Halloween.
Figured. We're actually, this is a subject we'll talk about, but this is actually a Halloween franchise will come up again, but I want to give you your take right now. It will come up because I figured that'd be a discussion.
Oh,
Yeah.
Halloween.
When I did my review for it, I figured people are going to come with the torches.
I love Halloween. However, I can see the parallels between the Halloween fandom and Batman fans. Both fandoms, as long as you name a movie Batman or Halloween, they will go for it, even if Rob Zombie does it. I
No, this is a
but
horror.
I do love the original. I love the original.
We'll get to it.
Oh, I have a whole rant. If you guys want to hear my Rob Zombie rant, go ahead to my Halloween 2 Rob Zombie's versions review, and I went into depth of what issues I have with Rob Zombie and Halloween. Well, number one, let me just say this one thing because I don't want to get off into a whole rant, but why didn't this motherfucker go and remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because he literally turns everything into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but he doesn't make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It's so annoying.
Get in contact with his agent right now.
Exactly.
Other people have brought up that point. You're not the first.
Well, obviously, Zombie had massive love for the original Halloween and stuff. He was such a weird pick for that franchise to do that movie. Like, it was such a weird choice.
I like his version of Halloween, but I can respect it.
I like jumping in. I'll say it. I think his Halloween 2 is way better and at least actually compelling compared to the original Halloween 2, which is, in my opinion, the actual worst of that entire franchise.
Dice, do you have any Halloween favorite? Or is it like the whole franchise, or is it just the 1978? If fake horror fan here couldn't add to think a minute. But not to put you on the hot seat.
No, last year I went through like half of the Halloween franchise, and I'm gonna most likely go through the rest this year. But
oh God help you!
Yeah, it could be worse. I'm going through the Halloween franchise too.
Oh wow!
I will defend those first 3 Howling movies to my death.
Well, the first 3.
Yeah, 3.
What about the 7th?
5 and 6?
No, fuck that. What about the 7th one?
Okay. The Freaks I can't defend nearly as much as say the Marsupials. I'll give you that one.
But I have a few. I actually have gotten to like, or at least kind of appreciate the Rob Zombie films a little bit more. There is one podcast, I think it's Good Morning Nancy, perhaps.
Yes,
that was talking about the second Rob Zombie Halloween film, and they were able to shine a lot more onto what could be read into it about grief and stuff like that. So I'm appreciative of that. I think Horror Queers even covered it too. So
yeah, they did.
So far, I've always been a Halloween 3 defender. Okay,
same.
But the 4th one I like. 5th one not so much.
Wait, not the 5th one?
The 5th one's all right. I don't hate it.
Calm down, babe. Calm down.
I don't hate it. I just like, okay. Yeah. It's
fair.
So it's mostly the first one, I think, that almost everybody hails as being a magnum opus, the perfect slasher movie. I'm like, are you sure? I have a list.
There's another thing about Halloween that they give praise to Halloween that shouldn't really go to Halloween. It should actually go to Black Christmas, which was like years earlier and did all the same things. But I don't know. I just feel like Halloween gets all the credit that Black Christmas should have gotten.
I love that we organically got in this because this was going to be one of my major topics I wanted to bring up was that in my opinion, Black Christmas deserves all the praise that Halloween gets, and it does not get hardly any of it besides, oh yeah, it's that cool one. The guy who made Christmas Story made it. It technically came before Halloween, even though it's way better and way more of an interesting film in my opinion. I think way more relevant to the horror genre, considering like how incredibly socially conscious and well that movie's politics is held up over the years compared to Halloween, which is a lot more pulled back and conservative in a weird way of like traditional, like, oh, here's Laurie. She's like, puritanical, safe girl. She's not this promiscuous one who has sex lives. She's the one who lives, whereas Black Christmas, no, they all are very openly sexual and a subplot about abortion should happily put in there.
Oh, interesting thing about that, in Halloween, one of his earlier interviews, John Carpenter said that was not the reason why she was safe. It was, he said that he was not trying to do any social commentary against sex. He just thought to himself, what activity could a person be doing that would distract them so much that they wouldn't see a person walking up on them? And all he could think of was sex. So it's
You know what? That's fair.
coincidental, yeah, that she happened to be the one that didn't have a partner. But he incidentally made that message, but he wasn't trying to make that message.
Yeah.
And
It's his fault. He
no,
started
Friday
it.
the 13th, they're trying to make that.
I guess this is a time to bring up. I really appreciate the original Black Christmas. You know my thoughts better than anyone. I am for the remake, the 2007. 2006. I love that. That's my favorite. I find the original Black Christmas a little dull and tedious. I know everybody loves it, but yeah, I can't. I like this. I like 2006 is way better. That's like because we got incest flesh cookies, guys. Incest flesh cookies. Yay!
I think I blocked that out. I'm sure I saw this movie, but I don't remember that.
Yep.
So I'm like that. What Dice? Do you have any other movies that'll piss people off as well besides Halloween? Get their torches.
Oh no! I can smell the gasoline already. I don't know. That's the one that I usually go to.
Go to is Halloween.
Okay. Yeah, which I think it's anything that's really hyped up a lot. That could be anything, even coming out now, that everybody says is brilliant, is wonderful, it's fantastic. I recently watched Late Night with the Devil, and I think that's a good film. But everybody was hyping it up so much, I was like,
I'm with you. We're with you.
Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction too.
I mean, it's good. I like it. I enjoy it. But okay. Everybody thinks this is the best for this year. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of been there, done that, if you ask me. Cool, done nicely, but seen it, done it before. Not to say that there's really nothing new under the sun, but it just everyone's building that one up. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
That's okay.
That's all I can think of.
Lady Sasha, what about you? Is there like a movie when everyone else is just going, oh my God, and you're like, oh God?
I have two. It's a tie between The Strangers, which is like, it's like a visual Ambien. I'm so bored. And Terrifier, which I love the character design. I liked the short when it was in All Hallows Eve. I think it was an anthology called All Hallows Eve, and it had a Terrifier short. And when they said they were going to make this a full-length feature, I was really excited because I think that clown could be creepy as hell. But whenever they make the Terrifier movies, they forget to actually write them. Like, they have great special effects. I enjoy the practical effects. I enjoy the kill scenes. But aside from kill scenes, there's nothing there. Yeah. The lead character, the final girls are all boring. I can't distinguish them from each other. It's just, I feel like the director is more of a special effects tech than actual director.
How dare you discredit the good name of white girl with black hair and a skimpy outfit, white girl with black hair and a skimpy outfit, and white girl with black hair and a skimpy outfit. They're all some great
Velvet, keep in mind as well.
The first Terrifier, I couldn't tell them apart. I didn't know there were three of them. I really thought it was the same two girls.
Keep in mind, the last girl had her costume made by her father, which is really fucking sus. If you fucking think about it. Here, babe. Here you go, darling. Here's her sexy angel costume. Thanks.
The way that works is if her father happens to be gay and he's a seamstress, or I don't know what the actual.
That'd be fine.
I'm trying to make a non-gender term for tailor. A tailor might be a non-gender term, but that's the only way it's not creepy. Is if that's their vocation. But if it's just like your regular dad making a sexy outfit for your daughter is a little weird.
Here, you'll grow into this.
No, stop, Dad.
But guys, you're forgetting in the first one we also had an older crazy lady that told Art he didn't feel the mother's love, so she wanted to breastfeed him. That was fucking awesome.
I agree with that.
Like I said, the gore scenes are great. Yeah. It's just what happens in between those scenes that are boring.
There's a lot of great set pieces in the franchise. Yes. There is nothing in between any of those set pieces, really. There's nothing for you to really chew on and mull over.
It does have a vibe. It takes you kind of back to 80s. You know, it does have have that really dark kind of
I mean, yeah,
grimy.
yeah, kind of, but I feel like slasher movies have come so far from what they were in the 80s to where it feels like less like a throwback and more like a regression. Like the Fear Street trilogy are throwbacks, but they still feel current, modern, and really engaging and interesting because there's stuff between all the cool slasher set pieces. Whereas the Terrifier movies are like, okay, here's a bunch of set pieces and some filler to pad out the runtime, especially in Terrifier 2's case.
Babe, Terrifier is like the original kind of video nasty pieces. At least during the kills, there's a dude for no apparent reason comes out and does fucking kung fu. At least that's something.
There was
going
a
on
reason.
between, like, you know?
Marty, his reason was bad chop suey. No, but I think it's also the characters. You have to make them interesting. And I remember I was having this conversation with my sister about how some of the best slasher characters have been in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, because you remember Nancy, you remember Tina, you remember Rod. Even in part 3, you remember Joey and Kincaid. You remember the characters so well. But in Friday the 13th, like all you can remember is like, where the hell is the corkscrew, Ted? Whoever Ted is. Like, you remember that guy. But at the same time, even though you don't remember their names, the Friday the 13th characters, you do remember them because they had some type of quality, whether it's a girl breakdancing upstairs for no reason, or Shelly with a stupid ass mask. Like, there's something that makes you remember them as characters. The Terrifier, I guess, victims, there's nothing to remember them about, nothing at all. And it's I don't blame the actors. I blame the writing. There was nothing given to them to make them unique individual characters.
That's an interesting point, but how come so many people, especially with part 2, was saying, and I agree with you on this, because Sierra was like, she was fine, but like everyone was saying, like, she's the new greatest final girl since Laurie Strode or Nev Campbell, and like I was like, I like these movies, guys, but I didn't see anything particularly special about the character. But that was something that was being hailed when Terrifier 2 came out, that Sierra was the first great final girl we've had in a long time.
I mean, if you want my honest opinion on what I think part of that was, it's because she was again a throwback to, oh hey, final girls can be like being super skimpy and sexy outfits that our male audience can oogle them over in, is kind of what is a little bit with
but
Sierra,
the Halloween costume,
exactly.
And
the merchandise.
Laurie Strode is overrated. Like, the major reason she even got that role is because she's the daughter of Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis. Like, she's the ultimate nepotism baby. She's never. I'm sorry. You guys can hate me. Jamie Lee Curtis has never been cute to me. She's never been pretty. I just don't get the, oh, she's so hot. No, where? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing?
I always see her as a mom figure. So
what about True Lies? What about True Lies? No. Everyone was like, even then, True Lies.
Yeah, it's Butterface. It's Butterface. Gorgeous figure, but the face is all. I just don't. It's not that she's ugly. She's just very plain, just very ordinary.
Yeah. She's the girl next door.
Girl next door, plain Jane kind of type.
And of Final Girls, one that's underrated that no one ever brings up is Kirsty from Hellraiser. Like, she went through some shit.
No, 100%. I love Kirsty. In my top 3 probably for Final Girls. No one talks about her. How just like genuinely really cool and interesting of a character she was. She didn't take anyone's bullshit, and she was just willing, like, okay, I mean, like, it sucks that you're gonna die, but like, I'm gonna look after myself more so. Like, bye. She'll help people, but like, if it's
to a point,
to a point, she'll help people.
You gotta know when you gotta fucking bail. Okay.
Exactly.
I do have to push back ever so slightly, at least on Terrifier 2. I understand Terrifier, the first one, that was interesting. But Terrifier 2, I liked a lot more than the first Terrifier, and I think Sienna is one of those reasons. I liked her.
Okay.
She doesn't have all that much as far as personality goes. I understand that. But I think another reason why people really grabbed onto her is because she had that badass element of all of this shit, like coming to death multiple times in one night and coming back in order to save her brother and whatnot. Maybe in this next Christmas themed sequel, I guess that we're getting, we'll get more on her.
We are, and the brothers, they're both coming back. How? I don't know, but they're coming back.
Well, they didn't die.
Yeah. See, my thing is, I wish they would have done is they had a cool idea there. her being like a cosplayer / someone who designs her own costumes. That's a really cool idea that you don't really have for any final girls or much really. Like that would be a cool thing to kind of lead into, but they don't really utilize it much after the first act. After she makes the angel costume, we kind of forget that quality about her, that she's very like crafty and like can easily think on her feet of like, okay, how can I do this, and this? Doesn't really ever come up again.
I get your point.
I got a hot take, and it's probably going to piss people off. I can't stand the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
What?
I fucking
I thought I knew
love
you.
Part 3. I adore Part 3. I hate the first fucking one.
Why? What is it?
It's boring. It's nonsensical. Okay, so the first couple of kills, right? The first couple of kills can be masqueraded as suicides or homicides or something. Then Johnny Depp gets turned into a fucking smoothie in his fucking bed. How are you covering that one up, Freddy? What the fuck? Spontaneous fucking combustion? Also, I'm sorry. I hate the final girl. She's so fucking
Nancy!
Whoa!
Whoa!
She annoys the ever-living shit out of me.
So everybody who's a Halloween fan who just heard what I said,
Yeah.
I'll be over here. I'll be over fire extinguisher. Just
No,
Focus
but
in on this.
I love Part 3. I think Part 3 is the best. I understand it's a benchmark movie, and it's fantastic. And the thing is, England is fantastic in it. But if you look at the movie, he's not fucking in it that much.
No,
He's not. He's and I'm like, my God, these people are so fucking annoying, especially that bitch in the bathtub. Why the fuck? Just do something, please.
That's my favorite slasher movie of all time.
I'm sorry, Lady Sasha.
It's okay. It's okay.
I love Part 3. I guess that it's a movie that probably it was Wes Craven. It was his first kind of studio movie, would you say? Well, obviously, kind of Hills of
major
Ice
one,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Big
First
one.
major one, yeah, because he did what's it, Last House on the Left? And
Yeah,
that was
was
Left
and
and
Hills
Right.
of Eyes.
And technically
Yeah.
Deadly Blessing at the exact same time.
And Serpent and the Rainbow, I think, came before.
Serpent and the Rainbow was after. That was the first thing he did after Elm Street.
Right.
Deadly Blessing came out first. but
I
yeah.
guess again, it's a benchmark movie. It's a phenomenally like just it's the idea and concept is cool. I think the execution in some parts works, in other parts it doesn't.
Marty, when did you watch it? Like, how old were you when you watched it?
I watched it when I was about 12.
Okay, so it's not nostalgia, because that's I was about 11 when I saw it too, so it's not nostalgia. It's
No, it's
you just didn't like it from then.
I
Wow.
like it.
no, it's
From puberty on.
And one thing I want to specify with this stream that this is my fucking opinion. These are all other people's opinions. No one's
please
fucking,
send the
No
hate.
one here shares
no,
the
no,
opinion
no.
of this wrong man.
I just Nancy annoyed the ever living fuck out of me. I'm like, God, do you know who I fucking like?
Did you not at least get a kick out of her mother pulling the liquor bottles out of everywhere in the house? The couch,
She had Grey Goose
I
everywhere.
thought it was fun.
Pulled
Do you
her
know my
under the
favorite part? My favorite part in that movie is where that stupid fucking mannequin gets pulled through the fucking window.
Yeah.
but again, I find it boring and annoying, and I find that just some like, okay, again, your man getting fucking hung in the prison cell, her getting stabbed, that's cool. How the fuck do you rationalize someone getting blended in their fucking bed? How the fuck is Kruger?
They
Back to
No
God.
one's gonna notice me. Fucking like, come on. Sorry.
They are an owner of Deathbed, the bed that eats. It's a
Excuse
perfectly
me.
normal explanation.
Excuse me, random Irishman. How did you get on this stream?
Yeah.
We don't know. None of us know you.
Will the real Marty please stand up?
Please stand up.
Oh, speaking of Irish, I do want to defend a movie that other people keep saying sucks, but I love it, and that's Rawhead Rex, which was shot in Ireland. And I don't know
Yeah.
why people keep saying that movie sucks. I love that movie.
It's
I don't care if his
fun.
mouth doesn't move. Doesn't
I
matter.
want to eat your children. Ah!
It's fun. The original novel Rawhead Rex is supposed to look more phallic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And-
I have that. It's in Clive Barker's Books of Blood.
Mhm.
But there is a funny. Also, I was reading up on that movie, and there's a scene that people cheered at in the cinema that really doesn't bode well for the Irish people. So I don't know if you know about the traveler community. Okay, it's our version of gypsies or Irish gypsies, not Roma gypsies. When Rawhead Rex attacks the fucking caravan site, apparently a load of Irish people cheered, "Yay!" So that does not bode well.
May the wind be ever at your back, indeed.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie, but it definitely takes liberties, and I think Lady Sasha can confirm this from the source material.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very much. So.
They definitely did not make it look like a giant penis creature.
No,
They definitely should have.
it looked like a member of Lordy that got fucking lost down the crag.
And it did have a piss baptism, which as a child, I didn't realize that's what was happening. Because I saw this movie at the drive-in when I was like in elementary school. I had no idea that's what I thought Rawhead Rex was pouring water on that man.
No.
When I rewatched it as an adult, I was like, oh.
Do you know what? Considering what some of the fucking priests got up to in this country, water sports is probably the better of the fucking things
Don't
to be
worry,
indulging in, if you ask me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they did that over here too.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Anyway,
if it wasn't for Rawhead Rex, then we wouldn't have Clive Barker hating it so much that he decided, okay, I'm directing Hellraiser.
That's true.
So can't hate Rawhead Rex for that.
That does lead me into our next question, because I was curious. Okay, so we talked about movies that people love that we all hate. Does there movies out there that y'all love that you just, it annoys you that people aren't talking? Like, yeah, everyone talks about Scream, everyone talks about Halloween, but there's other movies, guys. And that is one thing I think that sometimes the horror community does love to rinse and repeat. And there's the classics, not hating any of those, but I think there's a lot of undiscovered gems, or gems that don't get celebrated the same way the big ones does. Anyone want to throw out some that they think, why aren't you people talking about this as much as the guy in the mask?
How much time do we have?
Oh, a lot.
Go for it.
Yeah, go.
The chair's yours.
Interestingly enough, before I say anything, I'll probably let everybody else go first. But that correlates with something else that I was going to bring up. I don't know how much of a hot take this really is, and I'm sure I'm not the first and only person to say anything like this, but you're right in that people love the whole, like, well, give us something that we can make a costume out of. Let me have my next mass killer or whatever, or another sequel to this, or bring back this person for this. What about the original horror? Unfortunately, it seems like whenever there is some original horror movies out there, people don't actually support it, even if they might be toting like, we need more original. Buy the ticket, stream it, buy a physical copy. That helps.
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah, it does.
That's kind of my issue with the slasher genre. I find that there's such a push to make slasher movies. Things like sci-fi horror or fucking kind of paranormal horror kind of gets... Paranormal horror is making a resurgence, but sci-fi horror, unless you're talking Alien or Predator, people don't want to know about it. Like Pandorum. If you haven't seen Pandorum, check it out. It's fucking kick-arse. And like Jeremy Gillespie's The Void, that's probably up there with In the Mouth of Madness for one of my favorite Lovecraftian kind of movies. But no, people want guides in masks with fucking butcher knives.
If it's marketable that way,
I don't think it's just the people. I think it's the studios, because guys in masks is the cheapest production wise for you to do.
That's
with
what
sci-fi. Yeah, you need more money for a budget and things like that, which makes me think of a movie that I think is very, very underrated, and it actually flopped when it came out. I worked at the movie theater when it came out, and the theater was always empty. It was Event Horizon, and I'm like, this should be a horror classic.
I know.
And people don't even watch it, don't even talk about it.
You know, Lady Sasha, there's a cut of that movie in a salt mine in Transylvania, right?
I hope so. That's the rumor, because they forced the director to chop a lot of it out of the movie, because they didn't want to have a 3-hour sci-fi movie. Plus, they said it was too gory, so they chopped it up, put an edited version in the movie theater. The director says he doesn't know what happened to the master or the original film, but there's rumors that it could be somewhere in this world, and everyone's hoping to get the original director's cut. But to me, that movie creeps me out so badly. I mean, it feels like a Clive Barker movie, but it's not a Clive Barker movie.
Yeah,
That's how it feels.
100%, totally.
Mhm. If you get a chance to check it out, watch Event Horizon.
It's a great movie.
It is.
There's like a fucking extended version of the Blood Orgy where someone has their teeth removed and someone has like a fucking pipe put into a stomach wound and shit. Fun for all the family.
Yeah.
Good for family.
Movie night in space. Yeah.
Another one that should be on people that they never put this one on whenever they do like the American, what is it, AMC channel, when they do
Fear
the
Fest.
horror Fear Fest top 100, they never mention Society. And
The shunting.
But also the subtext that it's talking about, the rich feeding off of the poor, like, or maybe that's the reason why they kind of don't want us to recognize that movie, but
don't want to scare away those normies.
Yeah.
Oh, say again, Dice?
Don't want to scare away those normies. You bring out the shunting. You're gonna scare some.
Yeah.
We're just here for spooky stuff for Halloween. That's it.
I think there's another classic horror that really gets overlooked, and it basically destroyed the director's career. Peeping Tom.
Oh,
For me, that is the quintessence. You want a good fucking slasher movie? Peeping Tom. That came up with the whole fucking POV thing. That was just so fucking tense. It was a fucking gorgeous movie, gorgeously shot, gorgeously presented, and because it was ahead of its time, and that's what killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time.
Because snooty British people don't want to see women die.
Another classic, Freaks.
Yeah.
Freaks doesn't get enough love. I feel
Browning.
Freaks does not get enough. Yeah, and it kind of hurt his career as
Oh,
well.
it destroyed his career.
Even though he made the
even
Dracula
though he was like
film.
basically the Universal Monsters James Wan or something. Yeah, that Freaks destroyed his career.
And the thing about it is the villain of the movie is the person who is not a freak, like the normie.
It's the normies. I knew it.
It's a movie that you teach your kids about humanity. I always have said, I showed it to the kiddos as soon as they were old enough to understand, because I really feel that that's just to be a good human, you need to see that movie. I think so anyway. But what about you, Dice? You said there was a lot of
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dice. I just
no. I wanted everybody else to get a chance first. Well, I was just looking for
okay. Marty, Lady Sasha, throw out any stuff that y'all want.
Let me think. We're still on the same question of unsung horror movies that more people should watch. That one, I think that one is pretty well. This is medium because I think a lot of people know about it, but I don't think it gets the credit. And that's Prince of Darkness, John Carpenter.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
The actual best John Carpenter film featuring Donald Pleasance in it.
Wow! Wow! He doesn't even have a name in that one.
I think my favorite John Carpenter film is They Live. Like that. That's so relevant to this day. That movie is relevant. Like.
Yeah. No, They Live and Mouth the Madness flip flop and The Thing flip flop for me for my favorite Carpenter, but no, They Live's phenomenal.
Jen,
Body Bags.
Body Bags is great too. I'm
gonna play the same fucking record. I've been playing Alien 3. I fucking love that movie.
It's appropriate for today.
It is. It's a movie that shouldn't exist. It had fucking 7 or 8 different fucking drafts from 7 or 8 different writers. It had no fucking script. They were writing the script the day they were filming. Fincher got the fuck out of Dodge. Great kid. Charles S. Dutton. That man is fucking awesome in that movie. Charles Dance. Fucking Ralph Brown. Just a great cast. Sigourney Weaver's fantastic in it. And people are like, oh, the only sin that fucking movie committed was it was made after Aliens. That's everyone wanted the fucking roller coaster ride. And they didn't get it. And that's the fucking cardinal sin that movie made. And I will defend that movie till my fucking dying day.
There's some suggestions in the chat. Tony Man 100 says, "Where's the street trash love?"
It's a good flick. Good flick.
Classic.
DMC Campbell says, "I'm happy I got Dice that film Society. Something to treasure forever."
Yes.
Tony Man 100 says, "I like Leslie Vernon."
A
Here's
lot of people do.
War Figures and Custom says, can we talk about Cube? What a friggin' sweet classic horror.
I love
And then
Cube.
they go on to say an inspiration to Saw. Oh, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Tony Man 100 says The Stuff is an underrated movie.
I adore this stuff.
And
Also
Gears
very relevant.
Also, incredibly so. Like, that's one of those movies. Like, the 80s have so many of those movies that, like, people kind of write off as just being like dumb, silly
Schlocky.
B movies or popcorn flicks. But if you really actually sit and look at them, stuff like The Stuff or Society are incredibly biting social commentary and incredibly relevant to still to this day. And that's why I always roll my eyes whenever you hear like those idiots going on about like, oh, horror is nothing but woke and political now. No, horror has been political
always
since
been.
day one, in my opinion.
Since the 1930s.
Yeah, exactly. Horror has the key part of horror movies, I always say, is horror movies are scary or have to be both like scary or something like that, and also incredibly like socially relevant.
Yes.
That's a key to being a great horror movie, is how some sort of really interesting social relevancy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that does frustrate me because like nowadays people are going, oh my God, no, horror. And usually horror is leading the way. And even horror is behind, like, but compared to other genres, it still leads the way and is the first to be like, friendly with stuff.
Yeah, it's first genre where we got like semi-positive representations of queer characters. Really the first genre where we got any trans characters whatsoever. Nowadays it's like one of the only genres where like trans directors like Alice Mayo McKay or Jill Scarberg get to like actually have a playground to do and have a voice for stuff. It's a genre that has to be socially relevant and in order to be really excellent. And it's so frustrating hearing all these people like, I will never not forget when Candyman 2020 came out, all the people going on, this is nothing like the original Candyman. It's so political now. Why do they have to make it political and about like fucking, oh my God, did you not see the original movie, you dumbasses?
Yeah. It's like those people that saw John Boyega stand up in the Star Wars trailer and they were all upset. They're like, it's woke, you put a black guy in Star Wars. And it's like, did you not know Randall Calrissian has been there for like 40 years? Did you not know? You didn't see him.
I got bad news for you about who voiced Darth Vader.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The stupid motherfuckers giving out about Prey. Oh, they fucking ruined the Predators. Like a female action. Ripley, Sarah Connor. Fucking Jesus fucking Christ. Did you get fucking short-term memory loss?
But the difference is all of them are white. That's the key. That's kind of the key difference.
Can I sexually objectify this female lead? No. Anyway,
I don't care that. Yeah, exactly.
I have a couple of movies to throw
Go
out.
for it.
Now, this isn't going to be, if you've been on my channel anytime, this is a movie you guys probably get sick of, but anytime I always want to celebrate it because I love the rape revenge genre. It's my jam. And when people are talking, I love My Spit on Your Grave. It's a great, especially the backstory to that movie. Wonderful film. But you know what's an even better film that nobody, including myself up to a few years ago, even had that on their radar? There's a wonderful movie called Red to Kill that is probably, I'm going to lay my cards on the table, one of the best rape revenge films you will ever see. It is fucking, and it will break your heart. It's a movie that will break your heart.
You said Red to Kill?
Red to Kill. Yeah, from 1991, I want to say. It is a foreign film, and it's one that'll break your heart. The character, it is rape revenge, but it is so much more, and it's tragedy. It's almost Shakespearean in a way. It's just a fucking phenomenal movie that I have to always shout out. There are other movies that I have to shout out that I get annoyed with. Found is one. I think people know it, but more people should know it better because that is such a great movie about two brothers, and one of them is a serial killer, and they come from a very dysfunctional family, and like, you love your brother, but he's a serial killer, so what the fuck do you do?
Oh, have you seen Miss 45?
Oh, I love Miss 45. That's another one.
Movie.
That is another one. That is another one that I absolutely, and it's another one that doesn't get much love, and I don't know why. Why?
I think people might shy away from, like, I don't have a problem with rape revenge. I like I Spit on Your Grave and oh god, what's the one
Revenge was another great one.
What's the one with Linda Blair?
I know it. Linda
Blair.
Blair
He goes around with a crossbow, fucking up lads.
Yes, with the crossbow. Oh, that was great.
Savage Streets.
Yes, Savage Streets.
Yeah. That's another one. There are so many great ones. What about you? What about you? I know you have some.
Okay, and just to get this one out of the way, and like I know we just going on about like movies that aren't just about a guy in a mask. This is a really cool movie about a guy in a mask. Popcorn from 1990 is such a hidden gem of a film. It is genuinely like possibly my favorite slasher movie of all time. It is such a hidden gem and has such a really cool ideas behind it. I love how the killer works. He's like an expansion on the idea from Terror Train of like them constantly changing their costume and stuff. That when they do practical effects and make masks of their victims and stuff and roll around. It's set in a movie theater. It just has all these kind of cool stuff about it. Plus for people like me who like really like reading into the subtext movies, like there's a lot to digest on Popcorn, especially due to the fact like a lot of the cast were queer people and our lead villain died of AIDS before the movie even came out, and there's
it's that woke bullshit.
Pretty much, yeah. But like there's a lot of really interesting stuff you can really read into with Popcorn, and no one like I've heard a little bit more discussion about it recently, I think due to Joe Bob showing it on the last drive-in last year, but I still do not hear nearly enough discussion about how awesome of a movie Popcorn is.
I agree with you, and a lot of people do love it, but it doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, it just is. No one talks about when we're talking about like the greatest slasher movies of all time, and it's a damn shame.
Another one I have to throw up because Abigail's in the thing, and a lot of people have been talking about their favorite vampire movies. I have two movies that people don't talk about nearly enough that are in the vampire category. One is a very serious film called Transfiguration. Nobody talked about that film, and it is such a beautiful fucking film that touches on mental illness but uses the metaphor of vampires, and it's so fucking brilliant. And the other one is not so deep, Innocent Fucking Blood, which is a John Landis film that nobody talks about. It's so fucking good, and anyone who hasn't seen it, you're in for a treat, guys. You're in for a fucking treat.
I love where Don Rickles is like just fucking cooked.
Now that's a fun one. Transfiguration is a serious, heavy-duty kind of one that you got to be in a mood for. But Innocent Blood is just a good time. Yeah. Has everything but the kitchen sink, basically.
Another one that just sort of popped into my head for me is like, you know what? Actually, like people don't talk. Like it's getting a cult following in a reevaluation, but like I really love Carrie too, and think honestly, like it's my favorite Carrie film. Actually, I love the hell out of Carrie too, and a lot of its aesthetics and everything. I don't know why, just something about that movie I really draws me to it. Yeah, The Rage, Carrie too. I like that. I love that movie. It's my favorite Carrie film. Like, is it the best Carrie film? Absolutely not. But like, I really, really appreciate what that movie was kind of going for and the vibe it sets across.
I get you. Is there any more you want to throw out?
I mean, there's tons, like Dice said, but I feel like some of the other ones will come up over the course of the stream again, so I'll just kind of leave it at that.
I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Dice, because I know you said you had a lot. Ooh, boy.
Okay. Just going through my list of favorite movies. Obviously, I have to throw out at least two right off the fucking bat, and I think that most people know exactly what I am about to say. Phantom of the Paradise.
I love that.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. You gotta give some appreciation to both of these films.
Every person that goes into the music industry should be made to watch Phantom of the Paradise.
Yeah, I think some things could be learned.
Mm-hmm. Paul Williams is a top-tier devil. Paul Williams is a top-tier cinematic devil, in my opinion.
Very interesting. I mean, he works it. He works the sinister, like, this motherfucker right here. And of course,
I also just love the fact that it's Paul fucking Williams, like soft-spoken 70s folk musician Paul Williams is like this genuinely really sinister interpretation of the devil, but with a nice bit of charisma. So well.
No, he works the charisma quite well, and I know that he was working his ass off for that whole film, for like the music and just everything. And the Frighteners, I've already talked about that a number of different times. Tremendous amount of appreciation for that one. Overlooked Peter Jackson film. Yeah. It actually spurred on Lord of the Rings. You're welcome. Aside from that, there's a few sequels here and there, I think, that I tend to enjoy that others are like, or don't even know exist. Fright Night Part 2.
Great one.
I wasn't expecting much from that one, but I watched it and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So
super fun.
PTSD, basically.
Kind of,
yes. PTSD in film form.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm just saying, Jerry had a fabulous sister I would like to get to know the Dandridge family more, please. Thank you.
Oh, very much so. As someone who's fond of the female form, yeah, I can see the appreciation for Jerry's sister quite a bit.
Everybody, come together. Let's. Someone already mentioned Behind the Mask. We have a lot of appreciation for that one. That one's fun. Speaking of vampires, actually, I think I have one that I might be able to throw out here. How many people know of the movie from 2009 called Suck?
I do.
Yes, wait, no, I did not review Suck. I reviewed Bite. Close.
Close.
There's so many of those, and then there's Bit and
yes, I reviewed Bit and Bite.
Oh, I love Bit. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. I love that film.
Present and past tense, yes.
Yeah.
But that one I found because Alice Cooper, and it's very.
Is Suck the one with the band?
Yes.
Oh, I did see it. Yeah.
It's very underappreciated. And it's a bit bizarre, but yeah, it's cheesy, of course. But you've got a fabulous soundtrack, a lot of cameos from a lot of rock legends, essentially, and a fun concept that could also be read as either drug addiction, like with most vampire movies, or any other kind of addiction, or what have you. I read a lot of different things into it, so there's literally a line like, "That's for giving me a dirty needle." Like. What are we going to take from this, people? And I guess I'll throw out, perhaps. I'll throw out one more. Oh, two more. I lied. Two more. Love at First Bite. That is a 70s film. Quite fun. I see it as like a comfort film, easy to digest, real fun, you know. And another one that I recently reviewed, actually, is The Company of Wolves.
Neil Jordan.
Great Neil Jordan movie.
Yeah.
It's a great flick.
I do recommend all of these. Enjoy.
Those are all great. Speaking of wolves, one that possibly might be my favorite werewolf movie, honestly.
The Wildling?
That one's good. But no, possibly might be my favorite werewolf movie is one that like no one talks about really anymore. That being the movie Late Phases from like 2014.
Oh, that
I
movie.
love Late
That
Phases.
kicks
It's about this bastard Vietnam vet who's going into a retirement settlement and he's gone blind and everything, and he finds out, oh shit, there's a werewolf. They attack. Trigger warning for people who love animals. There is a dog death in the first little bit of the movie. But where the werewolf kills a seeing eye dog, and he spends the next month training to be able to fight this werewolf off, to have one final battle of glory, and go out in a blaze of glory and stuff. And it's just like fascinating. Like, yes, it's a great werewolf movie, great, really cool designs, and has a lot of fun werewolf moments, but also just a fascinating character study of like this total bastard. But since the movie's from his perspective, you sort of feel a sort of sense of remorse and like appreciation for him.
Isn't the son Ethan Embry from Empire Records as well?
Yes, the son is also Ethan Embry.
I love where he goes into the other fucking family's retirement home, and your man's, what's up with him? He's in an iron lung. Poor fucking bastard.
Poor fucking
Just walks
bastard.
out. It's like,
The feel of it kind of reminded me a little bit of Silver Bullet. I don't know why.
It has a little bit of Silver Bullet vibes in it. The werewolves kind of remind me a lot of the werewolf design from Silver Bullet, actually.
Yeah.
But Late Phases is just phenomenal.
Nick D'Amici's a great fucking horror actor, because if you've
Oh,
seen
he is. He's super
Snake
underappreciated. That between that and Snakelands, he has like two of the best like modern werewolf and vampire movies together.
I would agree. But there are so many. That's the thing about the horror community. We love, and I'm guilty of it too. There are certain franchises or certain movies that I'll always
You
talk
always
about.
have your favorites you pull to.
But there are so many movies out there that we don't talk about and celebrate enough that can hold, that could even, be better than some of the ones we talk about on repeat. Is that a controversial opinion? Because I feel like I'm not trying to be a dick.
I feel like a thing with not just horror fans, but like people, movie fans and stuff in general, and just people in general. Look, not even just movies, like books, music, comics, whatever thing you want to draw it to, video games, even. Generally, after a certain point, most people just stop experiencing new things. Like there were studies back a while back where like most people stop listening to new music or music they didn't already know about by like the time they're like 25 or 30. And I feel like that's sort of the same way with a lot of people with like movies and stuff. Like eventually some people are just going to like stagnate and just go like, I don't have time. I got work. I want to try to have some sort of social life. I don't have time to put it on like this. I'll just keep coming back to what I know I already like.
Velvet,
Maybe I'm immature because I
that-
listen to movies that weren't born when I was 25.
I know.
but, but fucking the likes of TikTok and shit, they're
Mhm.
fucking leading to stagnation because people don't have the fucking concentration or even the want to put in fucking time to watch a full-length feature film or look for a full-length feature film. They
A
want
full
fucking
film can be uploaded in bits on TikTok, and somehow people find that more digestible to watch it in little second-long increments.
that's fucking
I don't know if it's fair to say TikTok is shortening attention spans.
Yeah, I
because
wouldn't honestly.
being that, I mean, I'm 48 years old, so I've lived through being told that Sesame Street is making our attention spans short because the segments are 3 minutes. Looney Tunes is making our attention spans short. Video games. Oh, then they said MTV because music videos are short. It's making every new media they always say is shortening our attention spans. Yet movies have been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
So I think people are really interested in TikTok as the newest thing, but after it becomes not so new anymore, if we have it in 2025. I think that's going to pass. And people have been people live streaming movies on TikTok too. Because if you have so many followers, you can live stream on TikTok, and they've just been playing movies and doing commentary on it.
I just worry though, but you're most likely right that like it's the same shit as before. It's like people this is just but I do genuinely wonder though, are people going to fucking they're like, well, their life is so fucking busy. Is this going to be the new entertainment medium for them? And things like long format films. And the other thing I kind of worry about is the death of physical media, because
Don't worry.
I have a bunch of DVDs back there, and I'm keeping them because these streaming services, they pick and choose when they're going to stop streaming a movie.
Well,
these directors like George Lucas want to recut things, and it's like, no, I like the way you originally released it.
I
recently shot first, for fuck's sake. Shot first. Jen's internet dropped. She should be back momentarily.
I'm sure everybody heard, speaking of the physical media, about like 28 days later and how they're not producing physical media from that movie anymore.
That's fucking bullshit.
I already had mine. But now, of course, supply and demand, those who do have physical media and are willing to part with it, the prices are fucked.
Oh, yeah, that's going to go.
So, everybody, look in your collections now. See if you got it.
I've actually a weird kind of question for you. Because you guys big into physical media collecting. Have you ever accidentally bought something twice or 3 times? Yeah. It's a
probably. Yeah,
I've got 2 copies of Hannibal. Never watched it.
Yeah.
I have 2 copies of Hatchet, but one of them is signed by Kane Hodder. So
okay.
And I didn't know that I was going to get a free signed copy at the time. So that was very cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
But Jen, have you any more, or did Dice have you any more kind of movies?
I'll just say, just look at my letterbox. Just look at my letterbox. Maybe I'll throw in Don't Panic. How about that? I'll throw in Don't Panic. It's a Mexican film from the 80s. Absolute cheese fest, but it's got this like sweet charm to it. It's fun, and I rarely hear that talked about. So
very cool.
I have another one, but I know the reason it's not talked about is because it's just not out there. It's not streaming anywhere. It's not. I don't think there's physical media unless you can find a VHS on eBay or something. But there was a Michael Mann movie from the 80s called The Keep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lady Sasha, which version have you seen? Have you seen the restored version?
No. No. I would love to see a restored version.
Was this Anchor Bay? Hang on, I need to find.
I believe it might have been Anchor Bay.
Yeah, there's more stuff with Scott Glenn. You know, Scott Glenn goes to kind of face the golem, and there's also new tracks from Tangerine Dreams. It makes a completely different fucking film. It's a classic. You're dead right.
Yeah,
More people need to see Michael Mann's The Keep.
Yeah, it's never available anywhere. And part of the reason I think is because the book author, he didn't like it. He hated the movie. I just recently got a copy of the book because I want to read it and see what changes were made to see why the author hated the film so much.
That movie has a brilliant cast. Gabriel Byrne, Ian McKellen, Jürgen Prochnow. The fucking cast is stellar. Even Scott Glenn, the small bits of dialogue he's given, they've got weight to him. Jen, did you have any other questions or topics or?
Yeah, I was actually good. This is the part where I'm gonna call what grinds our horror gears, and basically this is a free for all. Whatever you guys want to bring up, and I will start. This everyone can have their own things and whatever opinions, whether it's about movies, horror community, being a horror fan, toxism, whatever you want to talk about, freeform. And I'm gonna start. One of the things that really grinds my horror gears is I am a huge Wes Craven fan, and one thing that drives me absolutely crazy is when they talk about Wes Craven, and you can argue if he is your favorite director or not, but they always only talk about Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream. And guys, I really enjoy Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream has its place, but he made other goddamn movies, people. It isn't just everything else that he made is like a footnote. And like People Under the Stairs is one of my all-time favorites. And he also did Serpent and the Rainbow. Nobody ever talks about this. And fucking Hills Have Eyes is a fucking masterpiece, and nobody talks about it.
And this is where I have to come and defend Vampire in Brooklyn, because he did that one too, and I enjoyed that. It was basically a remake of Blackula, and I mean, it's not official remake, but it gave me a lot of Blackula vibes.
It did. That is a movie that, like, it has problems. We can acknowledge it has problems, but it's a movie that I always get sucked into. And it's whether, I don't even know if we can call it a Wes Craven, because those backstories, it was more of an Eddie Murphy film. But either way, there's something compelling about that movie. I don't know.
There was a tug of war between them, because Eddie Murphy wanted it to be a straight horror film, and Wes Craven wanted to have little bits of humor in there, which is very.
That's ironic.
That's what happened.
That's weird.
Yeah, isn't that
it could be the opposite.
I would also throw in like Deadly Blessing and Red Eye for also being underappreciated films.
And Last House on the Left, which I know
not so much that one for me, but yeah, like Craven has a lot of.
Shocker, yes, Creepy McGee. Shocker.
Yeah, Shocker. I love Shocker.
Own that DVD.
Yes. But it drives me crazy of, like, guys, like, yes, Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not detracting the importance of those two franchises. That's awesome. But the man was so much more.
No, I would also argue, like, not to kind of steal your thing, but I also would argue, like, a lot of horror directors have this problem too. Carpenter's another example of he's either Halloween or The Thing. Maybe They Live, maybe some of the other ones, but like most of Carpenter's overall catalog kind of gets ignored too for this in a similar way. Not to the same extent.
Village of the Damned.
Okay, that one. Yeah, you can ignore that one. But like, Craven's probably the most egregious example of it I can think of, but I feel like a lot of horror directors have that thing of like, they get fucking
Romero.
Oh God, yes, absolutely. Romero has way more stuff than just his Dead films.
Yeah, exactly.
That most people don't really give any attention whatsoever.
Like The Dark Half.
Yeah, you know, it's the Dark Half.
Creepshow. George A. Romero.
Yeah, Creepshow. Martin is phenomenal. There's a lot of great.
The Amusement Park, which didn't come after until it was built, but it was
very
great.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of directors that have that same kind of problem. Hell, granted, you could argue the quality of his films are maybe a step below what the other guys had, but like Hooper had a lot more than just Chainsaw. Really.
Funhouse.
Life Force and his really surprisingly great
Life Force.
Yeah,
really great. Hold on, I gotta respond to this comment because I know it's directed directly towards me. Tony Man 100 says, "What grinds my gears is when anyone shows me a David Cronenberg movie. I find them boring."
Fighting words.
I'm the person that shows him David Cronenberg movies.
Them's fighting words. Is someone whose favorite horror director is Cronenberg? Them's fighting words.
I apologize for what was it? Crimes of the Future. That one was not so great. I admit.
I like Crimes of the Future.
I liked it.
Yeah, Cronenberg's
another example. You can't say The Fly wasn't great. Like that.
No, The Fly is great. The Fly is great.
Yeah.
But I would argue Cronenberg's another one of those directors who kind of gets lumped in as like, oh, he did The Fly, maybe Scanners, but like Videodrome's a goddamn masterpiece. I adore his 90s output of like Crash and Naked Lunch, and when he just got super fucking weird. I love all of those.
Dead Ringers as well.
Yes.
Oh wait, I didn't hear what Marty said. What did you say, Marty?
Yeah, what did you say, Marty?
Did he do Dead Ringers as well?
That's what I was thinking of, because you just saw that. Jeremy Irons.
Because I love that one. That's a brilliant.
Dead Ringers is really cool too.
Let us not forget Shivers.
No,
yes,
Shivers is cool. The Brood.
Brood. I keep saying the breed. The Brood. Yeah.
Well, even Rabid, which is his most rough around the edges film, is still really impressive and really cool for like a young 20-something director in bumfuck nowhere Canada to make.
I feel it's very parallel to Last House on the Left. You get where I'm coming from.
We talked about this when we reviewed Rabid. Yeah, you talked about this.
Yeah, because you can see the raw talent. It's not a perfect film, but you can see the raw talent.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But yeah, that's just something. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's a lot of horror directors that they're known for one or two things, and that's it. And there's so many other things that they do too. And I guess you can say that with just all directors.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of horror directors, especially, kind of get pigeonholed as like, oh yeah, they did these two things, and then anything else. Like, do horror fans just have a bad sense of object permanence of like, oh yeah, they did these two things and nothing else, or whatever the two most recent things I saw from them was what they did and nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Marty, what grinds your horror gears? And please don't give us another take like you did, a while ago.
You're drawing fires.
No. We've kind of covered it already. I genuinely feel that there is, and Lady Sasha pointed out that slashers are cheap and cheerful to make, but I think there's so much other avenues to approach horror with that haven't been explored, because we as an audience like comfort food, and the studios recognize that. Again, like, okay, I go into a bit of a kind of a home kind of turf thing. I can't stand the Leprechaun movies. Not because there's no. Hear me out. It's not for it. They're fun schlock, but I grew up listening to the likes of Eddie Lenihan and other fucking Shanakees. Shanakee is a storyteller, and there is so much untapped potential for fucking horror. Some of the Kelpies, fucking the Puka. There's just so many fucking weird and creepy fucking monsters and offshoots from leprechauns and the Fae.
What's the one without the head?
Oh shit! I'm after forgetting.
I know there's a specific name for it, but
fake Irish folklore nerd.
No. But no, that could be the Puka as well. That could be the Puka. It either has no head or a horse's head. There's also the Kelpies, which is the Kelpies are kind of a combination of Irish, Welsh, and Scottish, which they're horses that appear on a strand. And if you try and climb up on top of them, they just run back into the ocean with you and eat you. Because, and fucking leprechauns, like some origins of leprechauns have them as fallen angels. That, like, God's like, I can't send you all fucking down there. You're stuck. You're fucking stuck. And they're pissed off.
There was a movie recently called Unwelcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the name of the creature because I can't remember.
Red caps.
Yes, red caps. I have.
They're variations upon the leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
They're like blood. Again,
You Are Not My Mother is another one.
Yeah, You Are Not My Mother is another fantastic one. I know you guys aren't too gonna hold the ground. Another one about changelings. I love changelings. The Hallow. The
Hallow's fantastic.
That everyone's like, oh, the minute Irish horror is mentioned, it's like, oh, let's watch Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Mother.
Well, then you will like my list. I made a list of Irish horror movies, and I named 20 Irish horror movies, and none of them were Leprechaun. So I was very proud of myself.
There is.
I think I talked about Citadel. I think I talked about what's the movie? It was like a changeling type movie. No, it was like Pet Sematary. The daughter had passed away.
Lakewood. That's a great movie.
There's another kind of horror sci-fi from Ireland called Isolation.
Yes, with the cows.
Yeah, that's a fucking cool one as well.
It's really good.
I just think that it's like, Christ Almighty, we're not a fucking Lucky Charms box. There's fucking more to folklore than this shit that you're putting out. So please, and I know I'm being probably a bit too fucking patriotic about it, but
no, you have every right.
There's untapped potential there. And like, if you want something fun, people are like, oh, he wants fucking Grabbers, another fucking great Irish sci-fi horror. So yeah, I just fucking do fucking scary monster fucking leprechauns instead of fucking kind of. Yeah.
Give Mr. Warwick a break.
get the leprechauns because he's from that country that, has the clovers. Oh, I get it.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
It's okay, Marty. I date an Irishman. It's fine. That makes me part Irish.
That poor suffering bollocks. Jesus Christ.
I plead the fifth and my ancestors.
Lady Sasha, what grinds your horror gears? It can be anything, and it can be multiple things. Whatever grinds your horror gears.
Or perhaps everything.
Everything, yeah.
Concept of horror.
What grinds my horror gears?
Yeah, could be anything. Movies, anything in the community. What's something that just...
I would say...
If you'd like to tell me.
Oh my God, Alexa, stop!
Shut the fuck up.
Alexa's grinding her gears right fucking now. That's what's
Such a
grinding
new
her
asking
gears.
article. I'm like, nobody asked you.
Shut up, bitch. You're not invited.
Okay, what grinds my gears is how they do horror trailers. It irritates my whole life when they give away for example, just recently with Abigail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie, but they gave away the twist in the trailer and they didn't need to do that. They literally could have just shown in the trailer the people going on a heist. They get the little girl. You have the little girl say, "I'm sorry for what's going to happen to you." Then you cut to the girl walking in the kitchen and finding the guy decapitated. End of trailer. Then you got to go to the movie and say, "Oh, what happened to this guy? How did he get it decapitated?" Then the reveals would have been so much better.
Yeah,
They
100%.
really kind of fucked over that movie with its trailer. I'm like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
And
imagine
it's such
if
a
the
great
Sixth
movie.
Sense trailer was like,
As he did people.
like, what are you doing? Or
That
Dust Till
Cemetery
Dawn.
did it too.
That's why 2019 is probably the most well-known example of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been
and
others.
I've given
Another
up on
thing,
watching
it's-
trailers because of that.
Same, honestly.
Another thing is ignoring Hong Kong cinema and Taiwanese cinema in horror.
Mhm.
Like, everyone bigs up Japan, which has awesome movies. Love Japanese
Rightfully
horror.
so.
But there's also some great stuff over the years coming out of Taiwan and Hong Kong. Like oh God, I'm blanking on the name. It wasn't called Sweet Home.
Dream
Called
Home.
something. Dream Home. Yes.
Dream Home.
Dream Home was great. Back in the day, Ebola syndrome, which is some kind of gross out type of body horror. I guess it would be considered body horror. Just recently, gosh, why am I blanking on the
Parasites?
name? No. The one,
The
it was
sadness.
kind of a zombie. Yes, the sadness.
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 was
Like,
great.
it's like I'm picturing the scenes, but not picturing the names of the
Yeah.
movies. Yeah, the sadness. Like, there's some great stuff coming out of there, and also Southeast Asia,
Yes.
Thailand, Philippines. They just don't get enough advertising and distribution, I think. But
Mhm.
Shudder is having more and more Filipino horror on it, and also Thai horror and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like recently we've kind of fallen off of it because of life stuff, but back when we were doing like going over the every year of like blank decade in horror, when we were doing the 90s and we were exploring, like there was a lot of really interesting stuff coming in, like that new Hong Kong cinema
Yes.
wave of like the mid 90s, and we were watching some of those movies like, Jesus Christ, these are amazing. Why has no one
Like talking
ever
about it.
talked about them, and why is there
Oh.
virtually no discussion on them on the internet?
Red to Kill's actually from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
one
that
of
just
the
reminded
creators.
me of my biggest like fuck you opinion. Everything doesn't have to get an American remake.
Thank
I'm
you.
so pissed. Just recently,
Yes.
I watched this movie called Speak No Evil, and the way that the cultures were being shown in the
Yes.
movie between the Danish family and the Dutch family was so like precise for that movie. Then they come and they I saw a trailer for the American version, and the
Mhm.
Americans are quote unquote supposed to be the docile family, and I'm like,
Mhm.
have
What
you
the-
been here? Come to this country. This is a mental institution with no gates. I think if you wanted to do that, you'd have to make the docile family, I don't know, maybe Canadian, and then have the weirder family be the Americans.
That would have been
I
good,
mean,
actually. That'd be a good
or-
idea.
Or even within America, you could have the crazy family from like New York or Florida. Florida would be
Florida.
Florida.
Florida. And then have the nice family come from like Michigan or Idaho or something. That would
Rhode
make more
Island.
sense.
I can totally agree. I actually did a video on this because I fucking love the originals. Oh, Speak No Evil, such a good
Mhm.
movie. don't shut up about this fucking movie. And then I heard it, and McAvoy's a great actor, but I'm like, oh my God, how are you guys gonna fuck it up? It's gonna be a Martyrs or a fucking Old Boy situation. They're gonna fuck it up just like they did Martyrs.
I'll tell you how they're gonna fuck it up. They're not gonna let it have the bleak ending that it originally had, because Americans
exactly. Oh no, because Americans can't handle it.
No.
Yeah, like.
I love that scene when you find out why it's called Speak No Evil. Oh, the kid ain't got no tongue. Yay! I love that movie so much.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like the other thing as well. I watched it. Jen, for the most part, the movie is in English.
Yeah, that's
it's like, why the fuck are you remaking something that, like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Just release it in American theaters. Like, god damn.
Yeah, like, okay, not preferable, but like I'll take a shitty American dub of it or something over like a bad remake. Like, just put a little bit of money into doing a dub of it, put it out in American cinemas. There you go. You spend less money and probably have a higher chance of profit instead of just sinking a bunch of money into what's ultimately going to just be an inferior version of something.
Now wait a minute, your beloved Martyrs, darling.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. I hate the American Martyrs. It's one of the very few films that I genuinely hate because of how important the original Martyrs is to me. And again, it's pointless because, while admittedly, yes, the original Martyrs dub is terrible and also makes the movie incredibly hilarious. You have options if you're like someone who has a disability when it comes to reading subtitles or something. I can understand that. But like the dub's right there, or just redub it or something like that. You don't need to do it the shitty Americanized remakes and change all of the things. It's like, yeah, of course the point of Martyrs is that it's so fucked up and bleak and dark. And then what do we do for the remake? Let's give it a slightly more happy and hopeful ending for the future. No.
But brought to you by M. Night Shyamalan, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what movie had a really good dub?
Actually.
One movie that had a really good dub, because I watched it, with the subs on originally, and then I rewatched with my mother. My mother has a low vision, so she can like see the TV if she's close to it, but she can't read subtitles. So we watched the dub for Train to Busan. The voice acting was really good in that.
Yeah. No, the dub, like dubs have gotten a lot better. Like I watch a shit ton of South Korean films, and sometimes I'll show them to someone else, and they'll be like, okay, we'll watch the dub. And a lot of the surprisingly, South Korea especially, like a lot of the dubs are really excellent. Like another one, One Cut of the Dead actually has an incredibly good dub.
You know that, right? Train to New York.
Oh God, I forgot I had put that out of my mind that they were going to
remake. God damn it, Marty! Why do you have to bring us down?
It's like, why the fuck? Lads, just watch this movie. What the fuck? We need Caucasians. More Caucasians.
Basically.
I need faces, I know.
And watch them switch it to a mother and a child, because dads can't care about their children. Like, what is that?
A single father in this climate.
Like, okay, at a time I sort of could understand, because like distribution, it's hard to get in foreign films. But like, we're in the day of like the internet, where like sites like Shudder or various streaming services are great resources to just get international films. Or you could just do the classic thing of just easily selling the 7 Seas if there's something that does not have an American release yet. International films are so readily available that it really doesn't feel like there's any reason to do the American remakes of stuff, but we keep fucking doing them for some goddamn reason.
They can't even use numbers for an excuse, because the most watched show on Netflix last year was Squid Game, or I think it was the year before last. Squid Game. If that's your highest show, like, clearly we don't care if it's not in English.
Yeah, hell, look, Godzilla -1 did gangbusters, and that didn't have a dub at all. That was just straight subtitles, and it did gangbusters, and it was incredibly well received. We're not in the same times where people refuse to see stuff that's in another language just because of that. Like, there's some of those dumbasses, but that's an incredibly small portion compared to the people who are actually going to go see it and are going to be excited to go see it.
I know they're going to fuck up High Tension one day. I just know it.
That movie's in English for the most part.
They're going to fuck it up.
We're in a reality where even musically, people are listening to reggaeton or listening. I literally have K-pop albums behind me. I have to look up what they're saying, but I still feel it. It's beautiful.
I feel the emotion.
Some stuff's universal, and like
Mhm.
and like demographically, it's America especially is getting so like diverse and everything. Like you have these smaller select groups of people who like can get super excited, like, oh, something from like my home country or something from like somewhere on there is out, and like, oh, I can go actually get to go see that in the theater and just like get the little taste of home for a minute there or something like that. I get to experience my culture I might not have had to otherwise. But no, we just need to Americanize and whitewash it for some fucking reason.
Yeah, that's the other problem, is that America does, and man, if we have a dark and disturbing ending, look at Old Boy. Look at Old Boy.
Look at Martyrs.
Look at Martyrs. Yeah.
Speaking of whitewashing, they even whitewash the whiteness out of. Well, I don't want to say whiteness, but the European culture out of stuff. Like if you watch anything today, the people are just generically white. Whereas like back in the day, one of the things I always loved about Golden Girls is because Rosen Island was Scandinavian. She was from the Midwest. That's two different cultures: Midwestern culture, Scandinavian culture. Dorothy and Ma were from New York. And they were from of Sicilian descent. Another culture, New York culture in Sicily. Blanche was from Georgia, and at first she thought she was 100% French, but then she found out she was also Jewish. But within the series, you saw the interplay of their different American cultures geographically and their European cultures. Now everyone is just generically white, and it's like
just generic American somewhere in the Midwest, maybe California, some major metropolitan area for some reason, ignoring all the different like little things that America's such a big country. Different states have way different cultures around them as opposed to other states that we just kind of ignore.
One of the things I found most enjoyable. Sorry, if I start talking before.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry, I don't want to
do the same thing. You're good.
Rude. One of the things I found most enjoyable about Thanksgiving is that I'm born. I was born in Massachusetts, raised in Connecticut, very northeast. That movie is so Massachusetts. It's like if you want to know what Massachusetts is like, that scene where the guy, what the fuck? Fuck you! Was really. I felt like home. This is really Massachusetts. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a horror movie from New Mexico. I cannot think of the name. We did it a couple of years back, and you and I both were like, "Oh, this is."
Oh, we do that a lot of times when we're watching stuff, especially like post Breaking Bad, where New Mexico's become a lot more of a prominent filming location. For
this was actually
it was actually set in New Mexico and stuff. I can't remember the name of it.
You know which one I was.
I know the one you're talking about too. The one that always sticks out to me is The Guest. That was filmed like up in Moriarty and stuff, and I recognize a lot of the locations in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
and those shot on location New York movies from the 80s, like and Frank and
Terminator.
That is my idealized version of New York, not the pretty like Muppets Take Manhattan or Jason Takes Manhattan. I want New York to be shown as a horrible place full of drug addicts and hookers on every single corner, because that's real. That's how Frank Henenlotter showed it, because he knew what it was like.
And a lot of times he didn't have permits. He would just get in a taxi and point the camera out the window and go down the block. So look how many people don't know they're in an Henenlotter movie.
That's the only movie I can think of that really captures like the New York feel pretty well, but that's not a Frank Henenlotter film. It's actually the sequel to Angel, Avenging Angel, because that movie is also set in New York, and it actually captures that kind of vibe as well too. But that movie is also about prostitutes, so kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We got a movie about prostitutes. Where is it set? New York.
New York. Hey, the first Angel was set in LA, so there's at least that difference.
Yeah.
Divergence.
Dice, what grinds your horror gears? What just
Let me get the last. No.
Oh boy.
This actually kind of ties into it. I think what spurred on my little divergence of all of this. One thing which actually correlates quite well with the universal worldwide horror is people, and I say this with affection because my dad is one, who refuse to watch a movie because it has subtitles. Why would I read when I want to watch a movie? Okay, so it makes it so much easier than trying to figure out what they're saying. I think that really limits your palette for movies in general, especially horror. It was just a couple of days ago that I watched a Mexican horror movie from the same director, Ruben Galindo Jr., who did Don't Panic, and it was completely in Spanish. I read the subtitles, no problem. It can be done. It's all right. And aside from that,
I can read them. If I can do it, anyone can.
It's all right. If you have a basic elementary understanding, we can move forward.
Yeah, 100%.
even let's throw this out there. There were people back during the time of like video rental and stuff like that who would somehow manage to get their hands on foreign films, and they didn't have an English dub and there were no subtitles. They still watched the film and they were able to pick up on something, even if it wasn't exactly what was going on in the film. They still watched it and liked it. So
The first
The
time I saw
other
Akira, I had no subs.
what's it?
Yeah, yeah.
We can make it work. Come up with your own shit. Whatever they're saying, come up with it. It could be fun. It could be a fun little game. I don't know. The other idea here is this one is one that I've heard a lot for some reason, especially from my brother. That horror movies, in order to be good or to be considered horror at all, need to be scary.
No.
Not necessarily.
They can be. I mean, I understand why people would say that a horror movie, well, that's not really a horror movie. There's nothing scary going on there. I consider horror to be anything that is, how should we phrase, scary, but it doesn't have to be scary to me. It could be body horror. I'm not particularly freaked out by body horror, but other people I know are. It could be something that just has some really dark elements to it. It doesn't need a monster. It could be psychological. It could be paranormal, or maybe not. It was on someone's head. Again, that saying that you only want to watch horror movies that are scary, how do you know until you watch them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
And that's highly subjective.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Soft and Quiet. Look at how much.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's not a conventionally like scary movie, but like within the first 10 minutes of that film, we went in going completely blind, and a reveal happens, and both of our hearts just sank, and we were just sitting there in awkward silence for 20 minutes processing what the fuck we were getting into. And it's one of my favorite moments watching a horror movie of recent memory, because it genuinely shocked the fuck out of me. But like to most people,
a cherry pie.
yeah, it's but like the thing that's so shocking and horrifying is a cherry pie. It's not like,
and it's not sexual for once.
Yeah, it's like it's the reveal of what the cherry pie is and what's on the cherry pie that's so horrifying. But like at the end of the day, it's just a cherry pie that's so that like horrified us. It doesn't necessarily have to be scary. It just, you have to get that guttural reaction, that emotional reaction of like, oh Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
you know,
Which that movie will do.
yeah. I just feel like it has to be challenging. Like there has to be something for horror that has to have that sense of like wanting to challenge like society or the culture at large, or brings the mirror up to people who don't really question stuff.
Yes, and that's not to say that the fun kind of stuff doesn't have its place too. But yes, I think a lot of people do kind of really it's a thinker movie. Well, that doesn't belong in horror. That's a thriller.
That's real hard for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like Tony Man, the 10 Tony Man's bringing up, because I think it's a universal constant with some parents. It's like, go to the video store with my dad every Saturday night. Can I rent this? Is there tits and riding in it, John? No, there isn't. Yeah, you could take straight out in the middle of the fucking video store. My dad's like, is there fucking sex and riding in this? No, there isn't, Grant. So it's just weird. It's a weird fucking double standard of tearing people apart, blowing people up, being eaten, being eviscerated. Grand, no nudity.
I see one nipple.
Yeah.
That was a subject that was, for some reason, I imagine pretty much everybody probably heard some iteration of this, but for some reason, somebody, I don't know who, got a wild hair up their ass and decided to make a public statement saying, I think we need less nudity and sex in movies, just in general, not just horror, but movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
That blew up, and everybody had a wild range of different opinions. Mine, I don't know if I even voiced it on Twitter, but mine was more equality. Yeah. I mean, we've seen tits after tits after tits. How about some ass, male ass? How about some
dicks?
Dick?
That's why I always suggest that people go watch The Greasy Strangler and go watch Bunny the Killer Thing. Lots of dicks.
Hey, Lisa Frankenstein had something like that.
Oh, I heard.
Oh, yes.
Candyland did too a little bit.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about like. Yeah, I totally agree. More nudity, like, because that's the thing with like horror. Like, yeah, back in the day, sure, a lot of it was kind of like exploitative and stuff. Like, okay, like struggling actress, like show us your tits and we'll put you in this movie, sure. But like, not to say that there aren't still cases of that, but like actors have a little bit more activity and like protections now where like they can be willing, like, okay, no, I actually want to do this if it enhances the story and stuff. And it feels so weird because like the human body should not inherently be a taboo thing.
Yeah, that's
like,
why we're so fucked
everyone
up.
everyone has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking body. Why is it treated as such a why is nudity always treated as such a taboo and bizarre thing? I've never once understood that, even as a child.
And actually, on that subject, how about more diversity when it comes to bodies, not just pretty bodies?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, the greasy strangler.
Yeah.
That's in there, that she doesn't have what people call the ideal body type, but I give her so much credit for appearing nude multiple times.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
did you
Just
guys
like
ever see-
Tarzan through a cum jungle.
Oh my God.
I love that line so much.
I don't know whether people count this as a horror movie, but I do. Have you seen Saltburn?
I have not
need
seen
to. I
Saltburn
need
yet.
to.
Okay.
I was hearing.
I
Yeah.
know some things about Saltburn.
Yeah, there's some horrific
Heard.
scenes in Saltburn, but I do believe that one of the actors, I'll give only one spoiler. There's a scene where one actor dances around a mansion naked. I believe he wanted to do that.
I believe that came from his soul.
And let everybody see it because he's been quite comfortable.
Yeah.
And we love people who are comfortable with themselves. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the more it's shown and stuff, the less taboo and like less like shocking it's treated. Which I never understood why it's treated that way.
I don't know either. The one thing I was very lucky on, and this will probably give you guys a big piece of the Jen puzzle. My mother was a very hippie kind of liberal person, and she has art all over the house, and some of it is nudes. And like her friends were like, "Well, you got to take that down." And my mom's like, "It's just a body.
Yeah.
This is boobs. This is a penis, Jen. You know, no big deal." It was never treated as a taboo thing, and I think that's the reason why we're so fucked up. Because like sex is always all my friends were like, "You can't talk about it or anything like that," and sex was never taboo in my house. Now they didn't show me pornos, unfortunately, but
Yeah. Like,
I think it's more taboo in America because of how our country was quote unquote founded. The Puritans came over because they said that you're letting too many of these heathens in the church, and we don't like it. We want more stricter churches, and they came over here and tried to do the opposite of everything in Europe. Like, no more. Hey, we don't want you drinking. We had prohibition for a while. No sex. Don't be out here showing your ankles and stuff. This is our country's history is built off of a lot of like really
repression,
prudish stuff. Yeah.
So many people are repressed. My God.
I gotta give props to Emma Stone, who is naturally a gorgeous looking woman, but in Poor Things,
Yes,
like she fucking goes all out, and it's not done sensually or risky. It's just this real raw fucking kind of uncomfortable scenes, but she gets into it, and it's like after a while you're just like, yeah, this is just fucking normal. Because I remember at first I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of like, she's fair play, she's going all in, and then by the end of it, it's like, yeah, okay, it's just, I think it's even in that small frame of a movie, if it becomes commonplace after a while, the human brain realizes, yeah, this isn't so fun. Like the scenes, I think the director deliberately made just these really awkward, uncomfortable sex scenes to kind of take away. Well, this, like any other director, would be like, oh, sexy Emma Stone will do this. But it's done in a way to show that the character is gaining her own kind of autonomy over her body. And as it goes on, she kind of realizes, oh, like even the character himself say, wait, all I got to do is have sex and you'll pay me. Yeah. Okay, no bother. What's the problem? I like when she's in the brothel and stuff. And I think that's really clever with that movie. And it's kind of speaking to cinema as well in a way of like, just it might be jarring at the start, but if society just accepts nudity, both female and male, maybe it won't be such a fucking big deal. I don't know. Maybe the director wasn't trying to make that statement, but that's what I took from that.
Yeah.
I think it was that the character was not taught shame. She was never
Yeah.
taught
Mhm.
shame.
No,
There
she was
reason for
innocent.
her
She
to
was
feel-
yeah.
Yeah.
Pure innocence. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good
I
stuff.
was naked in front of a priest when I read naked when I was
Same
3,
thing.
and I got into sermon because the innocence of children.
Where are you going with this?
I've heard
Yeah.
this story
I was
before.
just gonna,
When I was
I was just
naked
gonna
in front
talk
of a
about
priest,
like
I was hearing squealing breaks for a moment.
I was
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about like Assassination Nation real quick, but yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say anymore now. Yeah, okay, whatever.
I was
What the
in a
fuck?
sermon about the because I was running around and like I was like a person. I always wanted everyone to be happy, so I'd always say good news, and like there was a priest. I think it was a priest that was over at my mom's house, and I just was because I hated clothes. I was a nudist even as a little kid and stuff, and and he was like I was in a sermon about the innocence of children.
That priest was
That's
later
almost
taken
poetic.
very far away from you. Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, she's safe. She was a girl.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Did anybody
You
else
mean I
feel that
wasn't
same
pretty
thing?
enough?
That old chestnut.
The priest didn't
The
find
more you say, Jesus.
Oh, I just thought of another thing that irritates
Go
me.
for it. Please change
Not just
topics.
horror,
This better
but
be a good
just in
segue.
films in general. Lazy writing where they have a character stop and say, well, you are my brother, you are my sister. Like, I hate that.
Exposition.
Just have them interact as siblings would, and we'll get it. We'll understand
Yeah.
that they're siblings.
We're
You
not
don't have
that
to stop
stupid.
everything. Like that's
I've never
irritating.
addressed any of my siblings like that. It's like, hey, bollocks, what are you up to? That's kind of like,
Yeah.
good one. What about you? You still got
I had stuff. Let me check my notes.
I had something to the
something,
notes.
but like,
you burnt it out of their skull.
yeah,
with your
I had
story.
notes, but like,
Which-
let me.
It's, it just shows it's a credit to the fucking stability of our relationship that fucking story is just like fucking water now.
That was the first story told during the first date.
It might have been, honestly.
Probably.
One I was gonna talk about, and like this is probably just because of like recency stuff, and like I've noticed a massive uptick in this discussion of stuff, and like I understand where people are coming from to a point, but like Blumhouse is not a
God.
bad thing.
Here we go.
Blumhouse is not.
I
I don't
agree.
get the hate Blumhouse gets. Do
Did
they
you
put
see
out?
Night Swim?
Hush. Do they put out bad movies? Sure. Every fucking studio does. Do they maybe put out more bad films than other studios?
Did you see Imaginary?
Maybe sure. I get it. Maybe sure. That's where it is. But like, and Jason Blum has talked about this and said this straight up. Like, yeah, some of their movies are balls and are only put there to get asses in the seats because they know they're easy. Because he likes to play, because what he does is he'll take the money that he makes from like those movies like Night Swim, like Imaginary, like The Gallows and
They
stuff.
got money from that?
Yeah, surprisingly, yes.
Yeah.
And he'll
Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends, Exorcist. Oh, well, maybe not Exorcist, but like
I
that
lost
stuff.
money on that one.
He'll take the money that a lot of the money he gets from those, and he puts a certain amount of them away for a creator fund to go fund and put to like smaller films that wouldn't get made. Because Jason Blum, as many issues as you can have with the man, he's a horror nerd and a horror fan at heart, and he wants to see more horror movies get made. So he wants to do that. So you'll have like sure you'll have those, but you'll have stuff like Soft and Quiet's a great example. That movie's Blumhouse, and the director said she only exists because Jason gave it stuff. The Creep films,
Yes.
movies like Cam, which are really challenging and tackling hard subjects of like sex work and cam modeling and stuff, wouldn't have gotten made if Blumhouse hadn't put the money up for it. Sinister, which was like a surprise hit and stuff. Again, that script was actually shot around to a few studios. Blumhouse was the only one that said yes to it. So like, yeah, they put out some balls, but I don't get, especially like post Halloween Ends, but like especially like post Exorcist, I've noticed like a massive uptick in everyone just saying that Blumhouse is like a garbage studio that does no good, and like they want to see them shut down and stuff. And I just don't understand. You cannot like a movie from them, that's fine, but you can't act and say that they don't do any good for the horror genre. Any new horror is a good thing inherently.
It is, but they just seem to be going on a trajectory of just like bad. Like lately, it's been bad. You know, the last few movies we've seen have been bad.
Sure.
Night Swim, I couldn't even talk.
Yeah, sure. Their theatrical releases maybe, but like a lot of their indie stuff, like we talked about several of their like more smaller like streaming or physical releases that they did last year, and like a couple of them are on our best of the year list. Like you have really interesting ones like Unseen, which going back to what Dice was talking about, that's a movie where you have like a nearsighted Filipino woman and a heavy-set Mexican woman as the two leads. You don't see that in horror very often, but they got to do that because they had the freedom to. The Passenger was a really interesting character study that you probably wouldn't have gotten to see. Mother May I, again, some really interesting movies that you would never have gotten to see the light of day if it wasn't for Blumhouse. I get the hatred that some people have for some of their stuff, sure. But I feel like people are taking it a little too far with calling like the studio needs to be shut down or we need to stop supporting Blumhouse and stuff. Like, you don't want to, sure. Yeah, if you don't want to see their movies, sure. But
Blumhouse gives a lot of new writers and directors an opportunity to get off the ground. Everything doesn't always have to be an intellectual property that's always been made. Like, for example, what we were just talking about with Abigail, that only got made because it's literally Dracula's daughter. That's what it was called, Dracula's daughter.
Or I heard even Carmilla.
Dracula's daughter was almost a reversion of Carmilla too. Yeah,
well, just a little more lesbian. The Carmilla's more lesbian.
Yeah, a little more lesbian, but it was the 30s and we had to deal with the Hays Code, so we just had to make it subtly lesbianic. And
to the people who want to complain about Blumhouse, can I introduce you to this little company called Wild Eye?
Yes. Exactly. You think that's bad? That's got no.
Come here, Scooter. You ever see at the bottom of the Walmart bin? Come here.
Yes,
it's all Wild High.
Once in a while, you can find something. Yeah, even you just have to look.
I have one out of 10 Wild Eye movies.
But it takes so much more effort. Like, if you want to talk about like things in comparison, it's way easier to find good Blumhouse movies than good Wild Eye films. They're so rare and hard to find. And yeah, that stuff does ultimately feel like just stuff that just turned out just to turn a quick buck and everything. Whereas like, yes, Blumhouse has that occasionally, but like a lot of their stuff is very creator driven if you actually look at it and like actually willing to make stuff that not every studio would be willing to support and like fund.
And Wild Eye will just like legit steal other properties' names to make a new one. Like it'll just be named like Ouija Poltergeist or like Amityville Exorcism. It's like you're just putting things out of the air. And
how many Amityville movies? Lampshade, Vibrator,
thousands.
I know because during one of my previous live streams, I actually went through the whole list, and I am so sorry to everybody who was there who witnessed that. There are over almost 80.
We have said several times we will do every November. We like to do a random horror franchise retrospective over the whole month of November. We are never even touching that. There is too much. It is a pit that never ends. That is a Ouroboros eating its own tail of a franchise. But no,
I like too because incest.
I get that. Oh my God. But no, like even you can even say like movies arguable quality and stuff and they have issues, but even stuff like Black Christmas 2019 or The Craft Legacy, both movies you don't typically see get theatrical releases, but Blumhouse put them out anyway. Now you can argue about the quality of both of those movies, and there are issues to have with both of them, but still it's refreshing to see something that isn't just generic guy with big machine gun and muscles taking down guys in white suits and stuff. Like it's nice to see something a little bit different or a different perspective brought in, even if you don't necessarily like it or agree with it.
I get that. I have been a little bit on the Blumhouse hate, but you do bring up some points and some good movies.
Hey, Cara.
Well.
When you mentioned franchises, and it jogged my memory of a franchise that's broken my heart multiple times, beyond the first three. And that is, I need someone to just let people know, whoever is making the Hellraiser movies after part 3, we don't care about police procedural. That was never part of Hellraiser. Stop putting police procedural in the Hellraiser movies. We didn't ask for that. Leave it alone. The last Hellraiser update, loved the new designs for the Cenobites. Loved help. I don't know if you guys saw, I made a TikTok reading from the Hellraiser, or it's called the Hellbound Heart novella.
Hellbound Heart.
Yeah.
And I described Pinhead while having the picture of the new Pinhead up there. And I described Pinhead having the voice of an excited teenage girl. People keep skipping over that. They
Yeah.
go, oh, this wolf, Hellraiser.
No,
No, Pinhead had a girl's voice, and Uncle Frank said I could not determine the gender, which means
Yeah.
they were always a non-binary character with
Mhm.
a feminine voice. So like, and Clive Barker was originally going to do that, but the producer said no. Slashers are male, and Clive Barker was like, "I'm not making a slasher movie though." And the producer was
Pamela
like,
Voorhees.
"Yeah, but slashers are male." I don't even get the concept. So we got Doug Bradley, and Doug Bradley did an awesome job.
Yeah.
He's still wearing a dress, like
the sucky thing about
But it's still, I was so happy when that was announced that Jamie Clayton was going to be doing it for that Hellraiser film. Because, like, yeah, as someone who read and is a massive Clive Barker nerd, was like, finally, someone who actually understands the text of Clive Barker and actually knows what they want to do instead of just making another knockoff of Seven because we had this script lying around already and we need to renew the rights for Hellraiser. So let's just throw Pinhead into this shitty Seven knockoff for some reason.
Well, but
There
all
was
those
Mexico
straight to video,
What'd you say, Marty?
all those straight to video fucking Hellraisers, they were something else that was the studio was like, let's just
they were other
fucking-
scripts that they just like.
Yeah, literally a few of those were just literally knockoffs of Seven that they just threw into the thing, and God, it shows.
The only one I find mildly entertaining because it's so bad is probably Hellworld, because of the whole video game thing, and they go to the mansion. And I'm like, this is not a Hellraiser. They could have made it as its own thing, but it's still kind of.
I have never seen Lance Henriksen be more miserable. I have never seen that man want to not be in a movie more than in that goddamn film. And I've seen all the Pumpkinhead movies.
But as bad as Hellraiser movies are, there is another franchise that's worse. We've done it.
Well, yeah, of course.
Children. Well, though there are a couple of the Children of the Corn, but there's some good ones there. Urban Harvest, fuck you.
I would argue Hellraiser's a better franchise than Corn overall, but very similar thing of like, yeah, they just existed so they could keep the rights. What's the one?
Runaway.
Runaway, where it's very obviously just Terminator 2's script slightly tweaked around to be fucking injected into a Children of the Corn movie somehow.
Dice, are you ever going to do a retrospective on Children of the Corn?
Don't do it.
No,
it's fun.
I don't know. See, that's the interesting thing. There's a list when I was first starting the channel and was going over reviews. I was like, I want to cover every franchise. Cover all of these. These movies.
It's fun, Dice. It's fun. They're great movies.
I see the shit.
People are liars. It's a lot of fun.
It's not.
I'll say it this way. Nothing is really off the table with very few exceptions. So we never know.
Cool. The Howling
I might drag someone with me.
Better. The Howling franchise is infinitely better and easier to watch. Hey, Monkey. I actually agree with Tony, too, on this one. Maybe it's just my personal bias of it being my least favorite subgenre, but, like, can we please stop with fucking exorcism movies for the love of God? The Conjuring is over 10 years old now. Can we get something new that isn't just The Conjuring again?
You see the trailer that came out today? I thought it was a sequel, but it's Russell Crowe as an actor playing a priest in an exorcism movie who gets possessed. I fucking shit you not.
I know.
No, it is a real thing.
Yeah,
Wasn't he already praying?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Literally last year.
I thought it was a sequel. I was like, Jesus, they knocked that sequel out quick.
Yeah, you and me were arguing if it was a sequel or not.
Yeah, like.
And the thing with exorcism movies is that because The Exorcist did what it did in 1973, it makes the ones that follow it so toothless. Like that, no one is stabbing themselves in the groin with a crucifix.
Nobody does that no more.
Well, I do it on the weekends. For fun.
Nobody's grabbing a psychiatrist's balls and twisting them. It's a demon. You get the demons are evil. They don't make the demons evil enough, and that's why these movies fail.
That's the thing, Cara. Though I agree with you. Religious horror is great. But show other religions and other faiths into the exorcism.
In fairness, there was this fucked up trend in the 2010s or the late noughties, where it was like fucking Jewish deities What was the hard on for all these fucking dangerous fucking Jewish daisies?
That was weird, but I will say there is one movie that does that I actually will give a pass to because I like the way it's done. And that's actually the Possession from like 2012 or something. Like it's kind of a generic movie, but I like some of the spins on it because it doesn't do like the classic Catholic exorcism thing. It's a Jewish demon. You have a rabbi coming in and stuff. It's interesting. I like how they did it.
That's the one with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? Because I think that's the best of them. But it was just what the fuck is going on?
There's one that I talk about on my channel as many times as I can because I love it. It's called Abby. It's from 1974. It is a direct Exorcist knockoff. Like it was trying to capitalize off it, but they did change the demon to an African demon and had an African spiritualist type priest character fight the demon. So that part, but it was a sex demon, so that made it more interesting too. Because
of course it was.
Abby was possessed by the sex demon. Oh, the scenes are great.
And Chica still looks sexy, foaming at the mouth. What the?
Like that's
Agnes. It's not a horror movie, but Agnes of God.
Yeah,
I love Agnes of God.
I get you, but like that was the thing. That was the idea that everyone kind of seemed to shit on when it came to Exorcist Believer was like, oh, the Avengers style, like all the religions are here and stuff like us. Where I was like, okay, that's not an inherently terrible idea to see different deviations and different faiths take on like one pantheon's like, okay, we live in a world where Catholic demons exist, but also these other faiths still exist. So it'd be cool to see like
they did in Repossessed.
like traditional African magic and stuff.
That would have worked if they
Judaism.
fleshed out the characters. They didn't.
Yeah, there was that, and there was also the issue of all of the faiths in that one were deviations of Christianity sans the African spiritualist who mixed in slave magic. Oh, you had a Pentecostal, you had a Catholic, you had a Christian, you had you didn't really shake it up. You had that idea, but like, no, they're all deviated from the same core idea. Like it would have been cool to see stuff like that, but no, we can't because it's alienating your core audience. I don't know. It's so weird.
Christians will get upset.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't add in different faiths into it because then your target audience for an exorcism/possession film, Christians kind of get pissy if it's not their guy being wrapped.
I have perhaps some little bit of an insight as to why we don't get more representation when it comes to other beliefs in exorcist-like situations. Somebody phrased this very well, and I can't remember who it was, but during the Conjuring's big peak, they said, you know what the Conjuring's doing really well right now? It's driving people back to the church.
Yes.
That's what they want.
Kind of like Omen, the first Omen.
Actually,
Omen.
First Omen did tackle this idea incredibly well, in my opinion.
Not the first Omen, not
the new first Omen. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like I go back to there's one movie, it's a black exploitation movie from like the 70s, I believe, that I really love, and I don't think gets enough credit for some of its cool ideas. Sugar Hill. Yeah. Sugar Hill is a really cool movie, and people don't give it enough credit for stuff, even though it actually plays around like Asian voodoo beliefs and stuff. Where like the villain of that movie is Baron Samedi, and he feels like Baron goddamn Samedi. He's hunting after a white woman because in voodoo lore he's married to a white Irish woman, so it makes sense.
They actually made a little bit of a mistake there. They call him Baron Samedi, but
that's true. Yeah,
his whole visage, he looks more like Papa Legba, and I guess I figured
that's true. That's
most
true.
People aren't going to know that, but Papa Legba is more popular for some reason in horror than Baron Samedi. I don't know why they did that. They just did it.
Like you had that little period in the 70s where we do that, but we don't really do that anymore. It really just is ever since Conjuring, especially, which are like, especially with that last movie, just basically turned into just Christian propaganda films almost. Why are you doing this, villain of the movie? Because I'm a witch and because I'm a Satanist. Why? What are your motives? Satan. They're basically just have become that at this point. Like, I would love to see different faiths and deviations explored in horror because you don't see it much. Like, unless it's coming from the country of its origin. Like, there's a very small bit of Israeli Muslim horror that's really interesting to watch and see, but no one talks about it and doesn't really get that much thing. Probably the only one that sort of gets talked about is Under the Shadow.
Yeah, that's
rightfully so. That movie's fantastic, but like you don't
Girl
see.
Walks Home Alone?
Kind of, but that's not really tackling like any specific.
Yeah, I think that's a vampire.
Yeah, that's vampire.
It's an Iranian spaghetti western vampire movie. I love that fucking movie. I love the fact they lampoon Nosferatu. You know the way the shadows moving across the wall? It's actually her on the skateboard in the hijab.
Yeah.
And it's just
So
fucking
cool.
cool. They recreate that scene, but it's an awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out.
Mhm.
Does anyone else have any more things that grind their horror gears, or want to talk about anything just in the horror community in general?
I might have a few things.
Ooh.
Bring up the list. No, I talked about a couple of things there. One, before I forget it, of course, because I think it's rather important that I would like to mention before I forget, is something that I didn't think initially would be considered terribly controversial or like a hot take, but the more time that I peruse on Twitter, the more I realize maybe it is. And that is that horror is queer, fundamentally at the base level ever since day one. Yes. And it continues to be so. It's just the normies, if you will, cis straight people, are able to see it more clearly now because hopefully we won't be killed for it.
Yeah, the bury your gaze trope. Yep.
Yeah.
We don't have the Hays Code anymore, so you don't hide it so much. That's why it seems, going back to the mentioning of woke cinema, it seems like movies are becoming more woke now. It's just because we're able to say the words gay, trans, queer out loud now.
If you go back to James Whale's Frankenstein, I mean, that guy, he couldn't obviously do a character who was homosexual, so he made a representation of Frankenstein's monster. He changed the Mary Shelley story into someone who is cast aside, an outsider, and has to deal with fucking the ire and the hatred of fucking people who just don't understand who they are. And I that and The Invisible Man, I think, are great allegories for that.
And Dracula.
Even Dracula to a point.
Yeah.
Well, hell,
I just want to mention.
Go ahead.
I just want to mention one thing and then throw it back to Dice because they mentioned Hays Codes. There are a few movies, if you can find them, that are pre-Hays Code that do prominently feature queer characters.
Yeah.
Very hard to find though, because most of them were hunted and tried to destroy during Hays Code, sadly, or just lost during all the various studio vault fires. But
the old Dark House. I don't know if that was pre.
Yes,
that was Code? Right around Hays Code. It kind of falls in Dracula's Daughter thing, where I think it was in production before the Hays Code, but came out after, so they had to change it.
Okay, but that one, I mean, initially I didn't understand. That is coming from me. I didn't understand why it was considered a queer horror movie, but I watched it, sat with it for a bit, went back and went, oh, now I get it.
Yeah,
understood. Okay. And we love the older guy who I think also portrayed the doctor in like Bride of Frankenstein in that movie. I'm
Pretorius.
Yeah, the more I watch it,
the best character in all of Universal Horror.
Blessed, flaming, absolutely.
Flaming campus the Scouts, but fantastic for it, like, you know.
But no, absolutely. Like that's the thing. Like that's something that I really, really love about the horror genre is like even down to like its very origins. Bram Stoker was a gay man. Mary Shelley more than likely was at least bisexual. The creators and like people who were
the directors.
Yeah, the directors who created them afterwards.
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker. So many.
The creator of Child's Play.
Don Mancini.
Don
Mancini. Like
Chucky.
I should have known. Chucky had a rainbow shirt on this whole time, and we just were like,
like from
Angela.
Sleepaway Camp, which is like something that like. Was never intended to be as important as it was, but like it is, and some of it isn't exactly the most tastefully done. But like, talk to trans people. I have yet to meet a trans person who doesn't at least appreciate or understand what Sleepaway Camp was doing, just because like oh wow, we actually get to be seen in a movie. And yeah, we're treated as the killer, but there's still some sympathy given to Angela. Like she's the killer in the movie, but she's not treated like a total monster. And the reason why she's treated as the villain is not into anything to do with her gender. It's just because she's killing people, because everyone at this camp is horrible to or a literal pedophile. So they kind of have it coming.
She's more of a vigilante than or
very much
anti-hero
so,
than
which is something I wish the other Sleepaway Camp films really would have kind of gone into and explored. It's why I love Sleepaway Camp 1 the most, because I feel like that's the most interesting Angela ever got in that franchise. I like her in 2 and stuff, but I really wish we would have really leaned into and explored Angela's transness for those sequels. Would it have been done the most tastefully? Probably not. But I feel like there's so many good ideas in the core of that. That's why I say Sleepaway Camp is actually a movie that could do in the right hands for a remake and really explore a lot of those themes and ideas.
They don't have the balls to remake that.
Do you think Switchblade Romance kind of rides a seesaw of kind of either negative or positive connotations?
I love
kind of like.
I love High Tension / Switchblade Romance. I love that fucking movie. That movie has a weird relationship with lesbians and a weird relationship with like. She never felt like it was a trans thing. It's more so just like the psycho lesbian stalker thing that kind of is the issue thing. I never really read her as trans. That movie does admittedly have a really weird and kind of problematic depiction of like lesbian relationships and whatnot.
I appreciate the movie, but I also realize, this is kind of problematic.
Yeah, absolutely. But like a lot of the really, at least in my opinion,
she's just really in love. It's how I feel about you, Marty. No one will ever tear us apart.
The crazy things we'll do for love. Like it's one of the things that I feel is kind of like a core thing about a lot of the really great queer horror is a lot of it is kind of messy and kind of weird about stuff like Sleepaway Camp or like Switchblade Romance. None of them are really perfect, but that's kind of okay. Like even movies that I do.
The one from the 80s, Baker.
Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker.
Yes.
Probably one of the best depictions of like thing, because that character is treated completely sympathetically and stuff. And the villains in that movie are like the terrible cop and his crazy mom.
But, and the gay guy lives.
And the gay guy lives.
Oh my God.
That's the bizarre thing about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of that, Jesse from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 should have been in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. He should have been one of the kids in the hospital.
Agreed. That's the biggest misstep for Elm Street 3 is just they completely ignore 2. Like I would have loved to see Jesse's character further explained a little bit. Because like hell, Wes even tackled, granted incredibly poorly, arguably, but Deadly Blessing has a trans mask character in it, and they're not handled very well at all. But like Wes didn't show hesitation with including those subjects and those topics in his films, really. So I would have loved to see a movie that like Elm Street 3 that was penned by him to kind of really more explore into Jesse as a character. That would have been really cool and kind of give him that actual moment of like actually being able to fight against Krueger, because he never really got that in his own movie.
And also to have some sort of recompense when it comes to, it's all right, he's with a girl now.
Tony Manburb's up dressed to kill. That, and I think Silence of the Lambs does present a problematic kind of view of kind of the trans community.
No, absolutely. Like, not to get up on my soapbox, but we did a whole our Silence of the Lambs review, like a good 10 minutes of that is just dedicated to me talking about like all of the issues with Buffalo Bill as a character and what that did to the queer and trans community, especially. Dressed to Kill is a really weird example of a movie, and
Sleepaway Camp?
I have a really weird relationship with Dressed to Kill. Sleepaway Camp, I think, holds up way better looking at it from a queer lens than Dressed to Kill. Dressed to Kill isn't quite heinous or anything. It's not like Ace Ventura or something where it's incredibly malicious. Like the character is treated with some level of sympathy and stuff, but they are still kind of treated as like from afar and like a thing you must shun and like keep away from because the dangerous trans woman's gonna kill all the women to make a suit and
Velvet,
stuff.
I think De Palma was so preoccupied trying to make something that was like an American giallo.
He wanted to make Psycho. He wanted to make it Psycho. Guy in a dress goes around killing women. He wanted to make his Psycho because De Palma wanted to be that era's Hitchcock.
That's not to get off the point.
De Palma did an amazing job with Carrie, though.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
Fury, and there was another movie he did. Oh God, what was it? The Fury.
the Fury. Yeah,
People-
the Fury.
Fury is so great. Sorry, Dice, I keep doing it. You were about to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Dice.
Oh, I was mulling.
What were you gonna
okay.
say?
I was just gonna say that, not to get off track here, but the one thing that you mentioned Psycho, and that's one thing I love about it, because normies usually think Psycho, oh, that's a trans. No, it's not. He
No.
just wanted to be his mother.
Yeah.
He just,
Yeah,
but it
it's something totally
infuriates me
different.
because people always Norman Bates into trans, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what he was. He just wanted to be his mother.
Yeah, no,
Mommy took over.
There are plenty of characters in horror movies I can easily read into the trans umbrella. Norman has never been
No.
one of those characters that ever felt that way to me at all, honestly.
No, mommy issues on that one.
100%. Yeah, like Cara said, Leatherface fits into the trans umbrella
Yeah,
way
Bjorn
more
Mortensen as
than
well.
Bates does to me.
Yeah.
Although Leatherface feels more like weird, non-binary, gender queer kind of thing. But yeah,
He's fluid.
yeah, very fluid individual Leatherface is.
You have to
but-
love a character that touches up their lipstick before going on a killing spree. Like,
Oh, 100%.
Gotta look good for this. We're gonna be slaying in multiple levels.
Slay and slay. But no, like and that's something I love about like how horror, like Dice said, we're getting better about it, and it's getting quote unquote woker because queer people can actually use their voice to create their art and be open about it. It's not like the days where like either it has to be shadowed and cloaked in like subtext, or you have to be John Waters and just be like a weirdo in the underground scene who just passes tapes around eventually and fumbles his way into mainstream success.
I want to ask a question. Why do you think some, not all, but why do you think some normies have such a problem with just the, and it's not even that much of, I mean, it's a lot better than it used to be, or at least we don't have to hide it anymore. But how come you think some people nowadays, it's like they get really offended if there is a character that isn't white and Christian, male, female, normative? Why do you think there are some people in the horror community that, because we've heard them, I'm assuming we've all heard them,
Oh, God,
right?
yes.
Some of them
Yes.
are in my comment section.
Oh, I've seen some of the nightmare stuff you have.
Why?
I got a comment that said, "This is what happens when you give a black woman a microphone." And I
Oh,
fuck you.
God forbid. Watch what I'll do with the microphone next.
I think those pricks have always been there. I think that
Mhm.
fucking orange bollocks that was the president of years for a while just gave them agency to open their big fucking mouth.
Yeah,
Now, like-
publicly. He removed the taboo.
Why
stigma
does it
of-
bother them?
Maybe it's because they
They're
have such a hard.
wankers. They're
they
fucking
have-
dipshits. That's why.
Yeah. Well, yes. Fundamentally, that's the first step.
Mhm.
But I think trying to be the empathetic person that I am, sometimes it physically hurts. Yes.
Oh, I bet.
I think it's because if, just as a basic example, because that's what everybody tends to jump to when it comes to this case, and most often it is in this case, straight heteronormative cis white man has problem with queer representation in movie. Okay, so
Mhm.
his excuse is going to be most likely that he can't see himself in the movie. Great, there are other characters, and
Cool.
as queer people, we have had no issue with relating to characters that were not outright queer. We've had no issue with that throughout history. We have searched through, read between the lines, and found something to grasp onto. And it's far from having the straight cis white man from being in the front of the movie in 2024. We're just getting a little bit more representation ourselves, and they don't like the encroachment, I guess, as they see it. It threatens them.
Yeah.
I think also a lot of them are closeted and hated.
Maybe.
Because I was saying to
100%.
my sister, because she was saying that she had read a statistic that 40% of Gen Z consider themselves as part of the queer community, whether they're gay, bi, non-gender. I don't want to say the wrong word. I'm trying to say non-gender conforming. Is that correct?
Gender
Gender
non-conforming about?
Yes.
Maybe
Please
conforming.
help me. I'm Gen X. Like,
We're a fruity
know,
bunch of
but-
people.
yes. And I said to her, it's not that there's more queer people in Gen Z. It's that they're more honest about their queerness.
Yes.
They're able to do that.
40% of Gen X was also queer, but people hid it. People who you could clearly see they were queer and still hit it, like Debrat, like Queen Latifah. It's like, we're looking at you. We know.
We know.
I see you.
But you don't have to. Ellen DeGeneres, well, she's a boomer, but still, there's a lot of hiding. And then now, with a lot of the court cases coming out, we're seeing how much of the rap community were queer and putting off this ultra masculine facade. And it's like, just be you, just live your truth, because it's I don't like
you're bottling it up and it's just becoming a poison. You fucking
It literally killed Whitney. That was kind of, among other things, Whitney Houston, because she had to hide. She was more fluid from what I've heard. She liked both, but
that's what I heard too. She was. I heard that she was bisexual and also poly. That's why she had her girlfriend and Bobby at the same time, and they were all okay with it. They just, But I think a lot of these people, the people that to me seem the most angry about it, there's no other reason for you to be that angry unless it's something you want to be, but you're too afraid to be yourself. There's no reason to be that angry.
You're 100% right. Just to talk about a little bit, like, yeah, I was kind of that way for like a little bit while. I was very hateful, like not like full on like MAGA, I want to kill all the gays thing, but I was very much like that classic kind of like, why does we have to inject all this stuff in there? It's unnecessary. Why are you forcing this stuff down the throat? And then I watched the movie Bit, and it just sort of all clicked of like, wait, why do I relate with this character so much? Wait, why do I relate with what she's saying so much? Wait, huh? Oh. Yeah, like, that's very much the case. That is very much the case of, like, a lot of the time, you're just so angry about what you feel like you can't have or you don't deserve, so you lash out at the people who can express that and can have that.
They're upset because you're loud and proud and out, and they... In my case, I don't know about anyone else.
100%.
They can't figure you out. They can't put you in a box. So fuck you.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happens. Well, I realize that with some racists because of some information I found out that some of the people that they come online, they say these hateful racist things specifically towards Black people or specifically towards Asian people. And then the whole, I guess every year, it's either Pornhub or one of the other porn sites publishes like what areas of the country is looking up most in that it's just a coincidence that the areas of America that are the most racist against Black are also the areas where they watch the most Black porn, or the areas that are most racist against Asians are the areas where they watch the most Asian porn.
Florida and Texas are the top two states when it comes to trans porn.
Yes, that too. Yes. Yeah. So
yeah,
it changed me from letting those comments hurt me to me feeling bad for that person. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I'm sorry that your life sucks, and I'm gonna move on. But you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you're a better person than me.
Even with that shit, like, I just adopt the thing of, hey, I get up in the morning, it doesn't fuck with my life, it doesn't affect me. Just get up, live your fucking life, let this person off with what they're fucking doing. Why fucking try and put so much energy towards being a bollocks? It seems so fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I think it's fantastic that I am able to just permeate into someone's life without even trying. It's great.
Oh, it's really great. I love it too. It's great.
No, but see,
it feeds us.
But see, now with me, because somebody I love is, and I've seen people, we live in a small town, and I've seen people, and there have been times where I have literally wanted to go up to that person, and I'm serious, because don't fuck with my kids, don't fuck with my man, don't fuck with anyone I love, and I wanted to go and be delivered ever fuck. I got it. I called a woman a bitch, and I tried to be super polite and nice to most people, but I called a woman a fucking bitch because they pissed me off, not because of me, but because of, no, just don't fuck with my kids. And I have that fucking same with Marty. Like I'll fight to the death for anyone I love.
You don't have to, babe. I'm Irish.
Well, no, I know that's just how I am.
Yes, you're right, honey. Defend the state is straight cis white man from all the people attacking him. No offense, Mark.
I don't mean it like that. I just mean, but that comes out and it hurts me a lot, because it's like, let people live. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it really, it does. Like, I got really angry at this stupid bitch, the stupid malice bitch that I wish I would have decked her. I still wish I would have fucking decked her.
Well, you can still find her.
Don't deck anyone. You won't be able to come over here if you get a fucking
Damn.
criminal
you
fucking
know,
record.
I like you guys are better people than me because and I'm a very like if it was me, I'll just think, okay, there's really something wrong with me. But if it's somebody I love, then I'll fucking rip your throat out.
Nah, I'm not that good. I'd probably just come back, find their car, and slash their fucking tires.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the Irish way, like, you know.
They would have taken the country out. I'm
I
gonna
have
take my
learned
key and
something
scratch it
today.
into the car.
Find
I've learned the Irish way.
On it.
Aye.
Yeah, y'all are better than me because I'll fucking kill you.
Don't kill anyone. You won't. Jesus.
You
Hi,
won't
ma'am.
look
This
good
is
on
my
the rap sheet.
girlfriend, Jen. She's just out of Rikers.
Well, you've even said it. You've said I'm scary sometimes.
Oh yeah, you can be super scary sometimes when you need to be.
Yeah, some of the sweetest people when they're upset.
Are. Yeah.
Also the smallest too. So
I'm not short. I have shoes that give me heels.
right.
Sparky got their height from me.
Yeah, sure I did.
That's why she's so short though.
Exactly.
Mark took it all.
While we're on the topic of things that we hate, I'm probably gonna draw hellfire and brimstone off of this one, but
Oh, good.
Mia Goth.
Not like that. I just mean for the stream. Yeah.
Yes, Mia Goth is annoying. I just find her annoying. I hate her
Whoa.
fake Southern accent. I hate all the screaming that she did in Infinity Pool. I think that she's not bad, but she doesn't deserve the praise that she gets. I find her
Does
super
she
annoying.
have eyebrows?
No,
don't think
I don't
naturally
think
she does.
It's weird. It's
does.
just fucking draw on some eyebrows, love. I can't tell your fucking expression. It's just
And I want her to study the American Southern accent that she keeps trying to do. I know she's British and she's trying her best, but the whole "I'm gonna be a star," I'm like, we're in the South. No, nowhere in the South. Okay,
But that monologue in Pearl.
No, the monologue's right, but I do agree. I do
monologue
totally
is
agree.
good.
Yeah, the
It's just
accent's
the
so
accent.
fucking corn nut.
But the monologue itself is really good. I almost wish they just let her be a British character. Like that
That would be
character
good.
doesn't necessarily have to be, Southern American. Like
Yeah.
they, especially for the time period that she's trying that Ty West is going for. A lot of those actors in the early 30s, 40s movies, they spoke with an almost British dialect. Like if you listen to Katharine Hepburn, they sounded, I don't know what that was called. I think it was called a mid-Atlantic accent. But actors, we don't sound like that
all
anymore.
those
They
kind
did
of
the way they sounded.
aristocratic kind of accent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like I
Even-
talk.
You talk good. You talk pretty, baby.
Thank you.
I can't
See,
do.
Marty does a better Southern accent.
Fuck off! Seriously.
You do. I've told you this.
Jesus. But I'm kind of with Lady Sasha because I watched the movies and I thought she was kind of she has presence, but it's just she's not a memorable character. Like I think the other characters, like fucking the dude who's directing the porno, or like the mother, the
X?
bitch of a mother in Pearl. Like
Yeah.
I just think they have a lot more persona where she's like kind of I don't know how to explain it. It's like a glass of water is like refreshing, but you might want to drink something else every once in a while as well. I don't know. I got that. Did anyone just get that she was kind of very plain Jane? I don't know.
Not as much in Pearl, but I totally agree with you. She's both of her characters are the least interesting ones in X. The rest of that cast is way more compelling than her.
Yeah.
Rebecca
did do
Hall
good as
outdid her that year.
True.
She did do great as the elderly woman killer. Like I thought that
Yeah,
part
that was
she
fun.
did
That
really,
was-
really well. I liked her better in that role than as the porno actor. But also in Pearl, I did like the scenes between her and her mother. There's something about them that reminded me of whatever happened to Baby Jane. Even though
Yes.
those were
Mhm.
sisters, not mother and daughter, it still had that same type of
It does.
uneasiness between them.
Yeah. I
That
agree.
familial, I'll kill you.
Mhm.
One fuck up, I swear to God.
It's my
I
fear.
also
I
love it.
fear becoming that, me and my sister becoming whatever happened to Baby Jane. That or Grey Gardens. That's my
Oh.
fear.
Oh,
Have you ever seen Grey Garden?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel myself turning into little Edie more
Oh.
and more every day.
Oh no.
Marty,
Oh,
remember
Tony Man
she
said
had
Jenny
her husband
Ortega.
had a heart condition.
Oh Jesus
my
Christ!
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's don't do
That's
that.
gonna be
please.
us.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
When I was younger, I had a couple of transplants, arterial
Oh.
transposition, the major arteries. I'm grand now, but Jen's probably gonna fucking kill me from some fucking
Oh
weird.
wow.
She's going to take you out for a test drive. It's okay. Don't
My
worry.
vagina is.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Well, I hope you're attached.
It's really tight, guys. It's really tight.
Jesus Christ Almighty.
Anyway, Jenna Ortega has been brought up in the chat.
Yeah,
That's a hot pick for me. I think she's mid as hell.
You know what? This is good. We've gone 2 hours 13 minutes before we've actually fucking
And it wasn't me.
I agree with Velvet. Jenna Ortega. I liked her as Wednesday, but she's kind of given one trick pony. Like I
Very
need
much so.
more range, but she's still young in her career, I guess. So we'll see.
Yeah. Like I said with that in our Abigail video, Melissa Barrera was way more the standout of the two Scream sisters than Jenna Ortega was to me, and I would vastly prefer her getting the career that Jenna has. But because Hollywood's a fucking shit show and treated her terribly, that probably will never happen.
Mm-hmm. Especially after her actually taking a stand about something.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
I hate
God
that.
forbid.
Guys, I know this isn't hard. What's going on in America with your colleges at the moment? It's Kent State
It's
level.
the 60s
fucking-
again. It's the 60s and 70s again.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Most people are against genocide. That's
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
government.
minus
Our government is
the
like-
people that are elected, Americans as a general rule are against genocide.
We kind of
Yeah.
don't like that. I don't know.
Yeah, not
It-
crazy
And also, we
about
don't
it.
like being told we don't have money to forgive your student loans, but we have billions to send over for war.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Universal health care? Fuck you.
No, can't have that. Die
it-
slow.
It-
Yeah.
Paid for war.
Die slow, away, out of my view, and please don't cost me more money. Goodbye.
Mhm.
it's grimly comical as well when you fucking Russian representatives going, Jesus, what's going on over in Gaza is terrible. You motherfucker!
Next, Kim Jong Un is going to be like sending us care packages.
Yeah.
I
This
did
is going a
stumble-
bit too far, lads. Thanks, Kim.
I did
Thanks,
stumble upon
Kimmy.
some North
Yes, as-
Korean propaganda. There's a North Korean propaganda video somebody uploaded to YouTube. It says that Americans are so poor that we have to get water from the snow off the trees to make coffee. And I was like, this is some random shit.
I mean,
wow.
give it a few years. Give it a few
Ladies, actually,
years.
keep in mind, Kim's father did invent the hamburger. You know that, right?
Oh no, I didn't know he was saying that. That's
There's
interesting.
all this. There's a list of shit that he
Mhm.
claimed to have did. You can look up online, and you're like, what the fuck?
That sounds familiar.
He also, Kim Jong Un released a new music video. It's a
Ah.
song about him. It's called
It's
"Friendly
great.
Father," and it was posted to TikTok.
It's a club banger. Wow.
He went to South Korea and saw the K-pop and was like, "I want in on that." Changed his haircut and everything.
His father or grandfather kidnapped an entire crew from a fucking Godzilla movie to make their
Fucking
own
Paul
fucking
Gasari, baby.
Wow,
movie. You know about that?
Yeah.
That's my first time hearing of this.
They
Okay.
kidnapped a couple. I think it was a married couple, right, Velvet?
Okay, yeah. So basically, there was a married couple of directors. The husband did not Godzilla films, but lower rank Japanese kaiju films. Kim Jong Un's grandfather kidnapped his wife and forced him to come to North Korea and held both of them hostage for 15 years and had him make his own North Korean Godzilla knockoffs about a creature called Pulgasari.
Oh man!
No, even
I would
Tommy
love to see
Wiseau
that.
didn't do that.
Yeah, no. Thankfully, the director and his wife eventually escaped and whatnot. But yeah, it's fucking crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like the 1960s. It's like fucking Kent State kind
We're
of
having
shit
something
going
of a
on.
resurgence.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
hope
is
that
Kent
doesn't
State.
happen again. What happened at Kent State, because that was gruesome.
Oh god.
Where
yeah.
for those that are watching it, they there were some students protesting at Kent State, and the government sent some, I don't know if they were police officers or National Guard.
Armed
I think it was
but they-
National Guard.
Yeah,
National
but
Guard.
I
they
remember reading on it.
they gunned down the students, which is messed up.
Or dead
Now,
in Ohio.
where they may get some pushback this time around is, number one, it's more unified. It's multiple universities at the same time in multiple states. So that's much larger. And then of the universities, a lot of them are Ivy Leagues, like Caltech, Columbia, Yale. These are
Harvard.
not poor, broke students that can't afford a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's and that's also the real reason why they're trying to get rid of TikTok. They can't
That's exactly.
control
It's
the
a
flow of
great.
information.
It is a great way to get information across incredibly quickly,
Mhm.
and actually get truth out there.
I was watching. I know we're going off horror, but I'm just fucking. I was fucking.
This is horror.
No,
This
it
is
is-
real life
it is.
horror.
Arguably, it's real
It
life
was-
horror.
It was like a fucking Senate hearing with one of the deans of the college, and some dude started asking about scripture and stuff. And I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you guys have a separation between fucking church.
Not
So
really.
did I.
Hey,
Yeah,
did
we
we-
Not
did
anymore.
too.
Not
We
really.
did. Oh, the worst part was the Senate hearing about the social medias. When they let that, and I'm going to call her this, you lying ass bitch from Twitter. She stood up there and said, Twitter is absolutely, doing everything we can to protect children. How come every time I go on that app, I see dicks, pussy, and racism? You
Yep.
are not protecting the children from a
Sometimes all
goddamn
at
thing.
once. It's all right. It's just like YouTube Kids. Oh, by the way, how are those Elsa and Spider-Man videos doing?
Yeah. Jesus.
And then they want to say, oh, well, we have to do something about TikTok because they are serviced by ByteDance, even though the owner of the company is from I think he said Malaysia, because they asked him 50 times if he was from China. And he
he's
that
was
was,
saying,
that
I'm from
was so
Malaysia.
fucking insulting. The dude had
Yeah.
to tell time and time again, dude, I'm from Malaysia. I'm not from fucking. It's like,
Yeah. And then
All right,
the
you
excuse they're-
stereotypical assholes.
Oh, but
excuse
they're
that
going to
they're
sell off
using-
your data to private investors and corrupt
Hi,
Americans. Like,
Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna
Every
say, that's
fucking-
Facebook. That's Zuckerberg.
every fucking platform from Pornhub to fucking Twitter to everything harvesting
And
my
this is the one I love. This is the one I love. It's a Chinese app. You can't have a Chinese app on your phone. Bitch, half the games on my phone are Chinese apps.
Chinese.
You didn't give a damn. You don't give a damn about my block game.
much-
You don't care about Bubble Pop. You don't care about none of these games. Even the ones with the girl with the mud
Timu.
all over
Yeah,
her.
Timu
boyfriend
has been
leaves her.
shown
I
to
don't
be
know what
spyware,
it's
and they
about.
ain't doing shit about that.
Yeah,
Wait, say it again?
how's Timu again?
Timu. Yeah,
I-
Timu has
I
been shown
think
to be spyware.
I think China would be delighted if they were this fucking kind of, fucking advanced and good at fucking espionage as everyone makes them out there. Don't get me wrong, the fucking CCP do shanky shit, but
Mhm.
nowhere near to the level that fucking people make out like.
No. And the one thing China wants to do, if they want your information, it's to sell you some shit.
Yeah.
That's what they want to know. They want to know, what do you like? When do you buy it? We will provide it, because that's what we do. We sell 99% of the shit in Walmart is from China. And you're going to tell me, you don't want me to order from Temu or Shein directly from China. You want me to order my Chinese stuff through Walmart.
exactly.
You want Walmart to order Chinese
Or
shit and then
Amazon.
resell it to me.
Yeah,
I heard a story. I heard the story of a fucker. He changed all his social media. He put pictures of Winnie the Pooh up on everything.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't fucking touch it because the rule about Winnie the Pooh in fucking China.
Oh,
Your
they don't-
man-
yeah, their prime minister does not like to be compared to Winnie the Pooh because
It's
he
like,
looks a
not
lot like
touch
Winnie
this.
the Pooh. Or Chairman. What's his name? Not Chairman. I forgot what they call him.
Lady Sasha
Now-
might as well be right.
I forget
Because
too. I just call it.
it is a fucking communist fucking government, true and fucking true. It gives the illusion of fucking democracy. Same with fucking Russia. It's just fucking. It's easier to kind of give the guys.
We're becoming that. We have the illusion of choice. We can choose between an 80-year-old senile motherfucker and another 80-year-old senile motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
I'm just going to pick the one that's least likely to want me dead.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're choosing
Pass
the
up,
lesser of
but
two evils every time.
It does suck that you have a choice between a zombie and a fucking human tangerine, which
Yeah.
I'm still amazed that fucking prick is going to be able to run, even though he's up to his fucking balls in fucking
The way America's too free. We're so free that he can literally go to prison and still be elected president.
Yep.
Because
That's fucking
we have
insane.
so much fucking. I mean,
That's-
I shouldn't say we're too free. In certain areas, we're too free. Other areas, we're not free enough. It's not. It's the balance is off.
Jesus
We aren't too
Christ.
free. They're too free.
Thank you. Yes.
What's the
That's
difference?
what it's saying.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Ma, exactly.
I believe my good friend Ronald Reagan can tell you the difference.
Just give me one moment and a Ouija board. Hold on.
Yes.
How's that
Oh,
war
wait,
on
there's
drugs
something
there,
in the
Nancy?
chat, Tony Man says, I heard that the government is considering banning drones because they're made in China, and when we use them in America, China is getting the lay of the land. Couldn't
I've
they
heard
just
that.
go on Google Earth? Like, people be going to Google Earth and zooming in.
Honest to God,
I had a friend who said that.
I don't know if this is a compliment or an insult. Ye are scary motherfuckers. I cannot see a Red Dawn situation where someone's like, yeah, let's invade America. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Every
we're-
one of
Oh
the
no, we'll go
guns
nuclear.
is a
We'll take
firearm.
everyone out with us.
The amount of guns and bullets in America, I think it's the only reason why we don't get invaded is because the amount of citizens with weaponry and the amount of citizens with poor mental health and the combination of those two things.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to break into the madhouse.
It's yeah.
And yet kids
Other
still go to high
countries lock
school
their
every
doors
day.
as they go by.
Yeah.
Fucking like England isn't that far, and this isn't me fucking kind of
Mhm.
taking a piss. They brought in a thing now where immigrants, if they didn't get legal status, they're sent to Rwanda. Does it-
Yeah, they paid. It seems that the UK is paying Rwanda to take the refugees because I guess space or whatever. I with UK I can kind of understand it because it's a tiny island. Like
yeah,
Yeah, it's
a
very
group of
small.
islands. You can fit all of UK into Texas. In the US, I don't understand it because we have a lot of space. Our problem is we keep shipping everyone to the same small place. Like between the Texas governor and the Florida governor that keeps busing all the migrants up to New York. Well, we have all of the we have Dakotas up there that nobody lives. We have Idaho.
Montana is right
Montana.
here.
Montana. We got plenty of space.
We have
I
golf courses.
Yes.
I saw the best picture ever. It's a picture of a Native American, and there's a quote below. So you're worried about people coming into your country with guns and attacking you, huh? And it's like,
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Wonder what that's
Never
like.
mind the gaslighting that they're doing to those people because they're coming here because we destabilized their government. We
Yeah,
went down
yeah.
to stabilize your government to try to get your oil, like Venezuela, and then we turn around and go, "Well, I don't know why you're coming here."
What's
Where did all these people
What's wrong
come
back
from?
down home?
We had nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
We're the good guys.
We're the good guys.
America.
I was on a stream years ago, and I got into an argument with a dude because I was saying, oh yeah, like, you know, I think America had a wake-up call when you guys lost the Vietnam War. Oh, we didn't lose the Vietnam War. Yes, you fucking did.
Let me just check Google real quick.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is that the one with the black pajamas, Marty?
Yes,
Oh my God.
yes, babe, it is. It's the one with the people in the black pajamas. But it's like I think there's patriotism and there's just I don't know what nationalism.
Nationalism.
Blind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
patriotism
It's
and there's nationalism.
it's
That's
what
like
America
you're
has.
so
And downright
fucking
racism.
blinded.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to dunk on America, but it's just like
Please do. We
We
deserve
do.
it.
it's like I told this to Jen before because like, you know, I were getting to know each other and she's like, would you ever come to America? And I said, yeah, I would to visit you and stuff. But I said, I don't think any of my friends would. 'Cause it's no, like I even asked, like, would you visit? No, it's fucking dangerous. You could be going into a fucking, you know, 7-Eleven and someone could just walk in and start shooting the place up. It's just it's too fucking scary. It's too unpredictable, like, you know.
Mhm.
On that
But-
subject, is Denmark having any openings? I'm just curious.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I've heard New Zealand is nice. I like
Yeah,
the
that's
weather
true.
seems
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
I'm trying to find like this is like I don't know whether I can speak for all of Gen X, but I think a lot of us, since we literally can't retire. I mean, they said retirement age is 70 now, so like that's not a thing that's going to happen. So we've all kind of started discussing, well, what other country can we move to that treats elderly people well? Maybe we can go there. I don't know.
I got good news. Ireland is getting great marks.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about Ireland. Yeah.
We still got a lot of work to do, and the scary thing is there is a fucking before Christmas there was 2 incidents where 2 non-nationals, one stabbed a child in a preschool and another sexually assaulted a woman, and ever since then there's been a takeoff on kind of far right groups. And that fucking sorry, I know I promised that fucking ignorant piece of shit fucking cunt Conor McGregor opened his big fucking doofus fucking knackery fucking mouth. And I was like, well, I should run for fucking person because I get all the fucking foreigners out. You dumb fucking Neanderthal fucking piece of fucking shit. I can't stand that fucker, and he's the worst.
Marty hates Conor McGregor almost as much as Nancy from Elm Street.
No, all jokes aside, he is
I know.
worst fucking example of people from my fucking country. A lot of people from here are good fucking honest to God fucking people, but then there's those fucking pieces of fucking knackery fucking shit. Oh, and they're like, well, you know, we should be fucking getting money for our own instead of fucking having foreigners in there. Fuck you, you ignorant fuck. Granted, it was the famine. We had to fucking immigrate. We had to depend on the charity others. And you know what? If you don't have the fucking good fucking sense to fucking pay it back, or to fucking at least realize that there's empathy that needs to be fucking repaid, then
one might even call it a Christian sense.
I don't think he's Christian. Have you seen his watch? He has a diamond watch with 2 figures of people well, not 2. It actually shifts around, so there's more than just the 2 figures. Like, it's different positions of sexual things happening on his watch. If I can pull it up on my phone, I don't know. A blurred version, obviously.
No. Focus. It's grand one. I don't mind at this stage. I'm sorry for going on a rant. It's just the dude.
And also, I think he should have been deported from America because he kept getting in fights over here. He punched a bus. That's what I was like.
Okay, this is alleged. There's 3 possible cases of sexual assault. 1 with a fucking minor. There's also him punching an elderly person in a pub because they wouldn't drink his fucking whiskey. Where do I stop? He's just the worst human fucking being I have ever fucking encountered, and I swear to God.
Tell you what, we'll just put him and some of ours in a little room, and we'll see what happens. We'll televise it. It'll be fabulous. We'll get the
Death Row Game Show.
Sure, why not?
Okay, hopefully we won't get dinged too bad for this. This is his watch. This is the mentality.
Nice.
Oh, okay,
damn.
And as the clock changes, the thing, I guess, moves, and it's like different positions or something.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's not gaudy at all. What?
No, not at all.
Marty, your birthday's coming up.
Oh my God.
No, I do not want that watch. I do not want anything associated with that fucking ignorant fucking dipshit.
I'll find one on Shein, don't worry.
No, that's the one you go to AliExpress for.
Oh yeah, you go to AliExpress, right?
I'm friends with a YouTuber, and I literally messaged them because they were saying that, like, oh yeah, it'd be great if he was like the Prime Minister of Ireland. And I'm like, I literally was on, look, dude, I'm friends with you. I love you, but don't ever say something as fucking stupid ever again. That is the dumbest. Seriously, that is the last.
We might have something similar. There are people who are running around saying they want The Rock to be president.
No.
And it's like, he's a wrestler who's an actor now. Politics.
Works for Reagan.
New rule. Politicians should study political science, law, things that, international relations.
Again, if a rule of fucking thumb, and again, proof that fucking gobshite shouldn't have been president. If you appeared in the WWE, that should make you not a candidate to be president. That fucking dumb orange sack of shit was in fucking wrestling, The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ! How do you?
Money. Money.
Yeah,
There's the same people who tell you that Elon Musk is a genius. It's like, this dude he never invented anything.
He bought his greatest ideas from a small loan of a blood diamond mine from his dad.
Yeah. Exactly. Like he bought companies that were already running, and then he devalues them and runs them into the ground. Like
Uh-huh.
he's lost more money than he's made. It's unfortunate. Well, no, it's not because no, it's not unfortunate. It's karma because of the emerald mines in South Africa and what he did to what his ancestors did to the South African people. This is why you will never have true success, Elon, because of that spiritual karmic thing that has to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's also got such a slappable face.
Yes,
This is true.
and then he gets on X and says the most homophobic and racist things. He actually, it's my understanding, he has a transgender daughter, and he got on Twitter talking about how he doesn't believe in pronouns and just being a total dick.
And that's why I still call his platform that he renamed Twitter.
Same.
Oh yeah,
I'll keep naming his platform.
X. Honest to God, X. I think I put it up. X sounds like something you put fucking detergent against. We changed it against brand X. It's like
there was Food Fight. They actually had that brand X.
Yeah.
But marvelous movie to compare that to, I must say. By
Of course.
association. Also, you gotta be real careful when you're typing in X as a platform. You gotta be real careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't linger on the X key too long.
Yeah,
you're gonna find yourself in a different place.
If you add 2 more X's, things would be different on your laptop.
I always go to those sites.
They're the better option. They're the better
Bookmarked.
option.
It's friendlier.
It is. It is.
okay. Come here. Since
Better for
the
your mental
topic since the topic has gotten kind of really fucking kind of serious, can I ask a question with some levity?
Ooh.
Really fun, stupid question. Okay, horror crush. Biggest horror crush, if you have one.
Maybe Jeff Goldblum when he was in Mr. Frost. He kind of was sexy in that.
All right.
I have 2, because of course I have to have 2. We gotta have variety, goddamn. One that I keep going back to, I think for obvious reasons. I don't think anybody's gonna be upset with me about this. The Countess from Once Bitten.
Oh yes, I dressed as her one Halloween. I love her.
For sure.
She wants you to live forever with her. I failed to see the problem. What is the problem? Anyway, and one, I'll give a somewhat more recent, another one, to get the other angle, shall we say. Let's see how many people know who the fuck this is. There's an actor / dancer named Mika, I believe is his name. I could be wrong. From the Company of Wolves. He is the one that we see the most of. He's the hunter, like the French hunter or whatever at the end of the film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't judge my tastes. They're very...
No, that's
You're earnest.
Acquired.
I respect them.
It's acquired, you know? I mean, it could be worse.
I have another one. Miguel A. Nunez, both as Demon in Friday the 13th 5 and Spider in Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Almost the same character.
They basically are.
Yes.
What about you,
I'm thinking. Come back to me.
Marty?
Marte.
Jen, what about you?
She'll go. Marty, you go first. You know exactly where this will go. It'll go on 17 tangents.
So Jen, you go first.
If you guys need time to think, there's a comment that they said, Tony Man says Rachel True and Feruza Balk.
Feruza Balk, yes.
Yeah, I knew that was
Feruza
one of
Balk's a
yours.
classic one of mine, yeah.
You know what? Rachel True, fabulous. Even now, fabulous, darling. Yes.
Yes.
God damn.
Marty, you know who mine are.
One.
Bill Skarsgård. Oh my God! In fucking Barbarian, that scene with the sheets. That is such a romantic scene. I'm like, hello, Mr. Skarsgård. And then I'm like, why did those fucking bastards cover up your beautiful face with that stupid clown makeup? And why are they covering up his face with the crow? But they're not really, so I'm happy. We're gonna go see the crow. And also, Chris Sedan is someone that, hot cop, hot vampire. Ooh. He could sink his fangs or handcuff me anytime.
I mean, I'll give you this. As someone who has like next to no attraction to men, Sarandon, Jerry Dandridge, there is something about that is weirdly appealing. He's so weirdly safe, yet you know he's going to kill you, but you feel safe around him also.
It must be the big sweater, you know.
Probably, yeah.
Also, the
And
house.
Brad Dourif's voice, just because.
Just the concept of Brad Dourif's voice.
The sound of Brad Dourif. Is that it?
Yeah, babe. Now, what about you, darling?
Definitely Barbara Crompton in From Beyond. And,
Gee, I wonder why that movie specifically, Marty.
well,
It was
no,
the
I
90s.
like
Is there any
I like.
specific
No, I think
thing?
she's doing a shopping mall.
Well,
And
don't forget Reanimator, where she got hit
Reanimator.
from a head.
yeah,
The head.
Reanimator.
Oh, and Mark Wahlberg. If Mark Wahlberg hits you, fuck you. If Mark Wahlberg wants to hit you, you let him. It's never okay for a guy to hit you, except Mark Wahlberg in Fear.
Jesus
It's
fucking
okay,
Christ,
guys.
dude.
He is
Yeah.
so hot.
God.
No. Oh my God,
God.
Mark Wahlberg. Ah, I love. Oh,
Establish a safe word first. Remember, people.
This is why I'm not taking you on a Ferris wheel either. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause this is-
finger bang.
Oh, Marty, speaking of your love of Barbara
Hand
Crampton,
sanitizer.
you should watch The Suitable Flesh, Marty. For your love of Barbara
I need
Crampton.
to check that out.
You'll like that one. That one will do stuff for you.
My other choice is Catherine Isabel from American Mary.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Very brutal. Very beautiful.
It's the leather apron, isn't it?
It's there's something about I don't like the Soska sisters because I know they fucked over a young fucking filmmaker, but whatever way she is presented and whatever way the character is, there's something very reminiscent of the kind of old school Hammer horror kind of femme fatale.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that actually. Yeah.
But it's
That's
okay if Mark Wahlberg wants to hit you. It's never okay to be hit, but it's okay if
Down,
Jen,
down.
don't stop talking about Mark Wahlberg hitting people.
Yeah. We're done. We're not talking about him.
he's so hot.
He's over there in the
Jesus
corner.
Christ, stop. Make it stop. Please.
Even in The Departed,
We got
he's
another
hot.
comment.
Oh my
They
God.
say I'm
They like
actually
the
kind
mute
of
button.
smitten. I'm actually kind of smitten with Georgina Campbell from Barbarian. However, her other movies, her acting sucks balls.
She's really good in Barbarian. Yeah.
Tell me again.
Trying to think of mine. Like fucking Frusa Bulk's definitely up there. Oh, God, why can't I think of her name?
is
Ginger from Ginger Snaps. Who is that?
That's Catherine Isabel.
Yes, Catherine Isabel. Thank you. That one goes in there. The actress who played Trash from Return of the Living Dead 3. That she
Linnea
falls in
Quigley?
there.
Oh,
No, that's not Linnea Quigley. Julie from Return of the Living Dead 3, not Trash. Linnea Quigley also, but no, Julie from Return of the Living Dead 3.
Mhm.
I can't remember her name, but she's also in another movie called The Killer Tongue, which is a
I think her
very
name
shitty
is
film. but-
Miranda Clark. She was in the OC, and she was also Priest, Jessica Priest, in Spawn.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Mark Wahlberg.
God, no.
Jen,
No.
stop with Mark Wahlberg,
Enough
please.
Mark
I'm getting
Wahlberg,
fucking
honey.
inferiority complex here.
Enough. Enough.
I don't
Not
care.
the Wahlberg inferiority. No.
You under the
Fuck
Fuck you all. Planet of the Apes is awesome.
as good as Mark Wahlberg looks, do not forget he did get convicted of a hate crime, which he
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
admitted
blinded an
so
Asian.
severely that he lost
Let's
an
not
eye.
forget that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he blinded
I
an
know,
Asian.
but he's so hot.
Uh-huh.
We'll just say
Oh.
fictional characters.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's take
his
the fictional
characters
character.
are hot.
Yeah. Not necessarily a crush, but just like a, okay, I'll do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Grace Jones and Vamp.
Yes.
Yeah, Grace Jones and Vamp.
Mhm.
That dance is just one of the greatest
Mhm.
scenes in cinema history.
What
It's-
about this?
Guys,
Empire?
do you think
Mm.
From Dusk Till Dawn kind of ripped off Vamp?
Yes.
a little bit, yeah. I think so. I
One-
definitely think Rodriguez or Tarantino saw it at least.
Fucking
Mhm.
foot scene.
A
Foot
fun
people.
fact about the dance scene, you know the chair that's shaped like a human being that she's
Uh-huh.
on?
Oh, I know it very
That's-
well.
That is a like a real life body cast of Dolph Lundgren, who was her boyfriend at the time.
That's glorious.
Hmm
I think
Like,
I did
so-
hear about that.
So that could have been just actually been her furniture from home that she just brought
Yeah.
into set.
Mhm.
She brought
like
it back and went, hey.
It makes sense with Grace Jones.
And she had one of her friends who was a graffiti artist paint her body.
I
Yeah,
did know
I
that
did
one.
know
I
that
did
one.
know that one.
Yeah.
The literal hours. And I'm like, could I assist?
Could I give assistance in any way?
Could I hold the paint?
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else you guys want to discuss, or will we round it up here?
Any other questions you had or anything?
No, unless anyone else wants to go. If there's anything else anyone's dying to talk about before we, I know you all have. I don't, but everyone else here has lives.
I do.
I don't have a life, but I have some tacos waiting for me. I really
Oh,
Tacos.
That's close. That's close.
Come here, but before you go, guys, I kind of always try and give a chance for people to plug their stuff. Dice, what is on the horizon and what's out presently that you want people to check out?
Oh, presently, what kind of fire do we have going on here? Last review that I had up is for Howling 4.
Oh, I love Halloween 4. It's my favorite.
No, I said Howling 4.
Howling.
Oh,
Howling 4.
Nice
The one that's
try.
remake of the first film.
oh God.
Although I do have a review for that up too.
You
but
did
that
because I was
much
thinking
good.
Wait, short. Yeah.
But you already did. I did.
I thought you might have liked
I
it
did
so
it
much you
again.
did it again.
I changed my views. No. Howling 4, that's up currently. So you get the chance to be able to see an alternative, I guess, to a werewolf transformation. That's very street trash.
Transformative.
Sure. Yes. It's very gooey. Anyway, aside from that, I believe that tomorrow there will be the next watch along with Charles and Celise. We're going through the Phantasm franchise because neither of them
Great.
have ever seen it. We must bring them through. So
Nice.
Phantasm 2 is what we were going to be watching.
Ball is back.
Great movie. I never can decide if I love the first one more. I love all the movies, but I can never decide which one's my favorite, the first one or second one. I always go back and forth.
I'm someone who champions Phantasm 3.
That's a good one
Three's
too.
good.
Yeah, I
Worth it.
like 2 and 3. 1, it's fun, but all of a sudden characters just break out playing guitar, and I'm like,
It's great.
That's
It
what
adds
I
to the
It
charm
was
of
the
movie.
70s, man.
Yeah, it's just the 70s. Everyone's got an acoustic guitar and just ready to whip out their new folk hit. Everyone wants to be Bob Dylan.
I do like though that you get a badass bald ice cream man kicking ass with a quad
Of
barrel
course.
shotgun.
I love Reggie.
But so is there anything bar the watch along? Is there anything else you want people to be aware of?
Just keep an eye out for, I guess, my next reviews. I don't know when exactly those will be coming out, but I have written a review for Late Night with the Devil, so that's one.
Oh.
I've also actually finally completed. I don't know why it took me this long. I get distracted by things. That's why. I've completed my Exorcist review, so these are things I'm getting lined up. I don't know when they're going to come out, but keep an eye out.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Lady Sasha, what about yourself? Anything currently going on or anything on the horizon you want to plug?
Well, on Mondays, I'm on Hood Podcast, in which we talk about news of the weird and respond to some TikTok videos, just whatever catches our attention. In addition to that, I have so many reviews I have to get caught up on. I'm still sitting on my review for The Exorcist Believer.
Believers.
I recorded it like 2 months ago.
What?
Posted. I guess I was
Why?
upset. I don't know. I will end up posting it, and then I have a couple other reviews I need to do. I have written, but I've not recorded. I've written a review for Late Night with the Devil, for Ghostbusters, and for the first Omen. So I have to get on top of those. What I have been working on is still the Cabin in the Woods Film Festival, which is this August, and it's a hybrid boutique festival that has 3 parts. The first part is at a cabin in the woods, where people can literally go to a cabin in the woods in the Pacific Northwest of the United States and view and review, vote on movies. The second part of it is in theater, which is 2 days after that, in a theater in Seattle. Same thing. viewing independent horror, both shorts and full-length features. And then the third part is online, which is Cabin on the Web. And it's very interactive in that there's a social wall, so you can not just you're encouraged to talk during the movie via text, not text message, but like message board. It's like a message board. It goes up and everyone can see the messages. We did that because the filmmakers were a little bit shy about having an online film festival, because one of the things that they like the most is the audience reaction to their horror films. So that's why we incorporated that live element. In between the film blocks, there's also contests, there's an escape room, and we have special guests. We have some directors, some writers, and actors hosting the different film blocks. So you'll get to talk directly to directors, which is pretty cool.
That's
Am I
awesome.
forgetting anything? Oh, yes. By the way, Marty helped us out tremendously last year. He made an ad, and right after he posted his ad, like a whole bunch of people bought more tickets, and I'm like, that is so awesome. So you have a good touch for making advertising.
No, I like editing. It's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah,
And
that was
if you want me to
awesome.
try and make a new one, I can. Or if you want to reuse that one, feel free. Whatever.
Oh, sure. Whatever you have time to do, we would appreciate it, because that was what you made last year was beautiful. I was really, really impressed with that.
I'm not
I
surprised.
don't think I'm also going to be on Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel, and our next group of films that I've chosen for us to look at are The Howling 3: The Marsupials, which is one of my favorite Howlings,
Fuck yeah.
another film called Curse of the Queer Wolf, which
Oh,
I think is very it's very
interesting.
complex. It's very complex.
Yeah.
But I had the reason why I've waited so long, I've wanted to review this movie for a couple of years, but being that I'm cisgender, heterosexual, I didn't want to have blind spots and not understand it. So I did a lot of research, and I read reviews from people in the queer community, including people in the trans community, so I could get a better understanding and make sure that I don't do anything that would be offensive or harmful in any way. So that's coming up.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Jen, Velvet.
We talk about movies on the internet real good, like.
You didn't say what you
Still a
wanted to
better
plug.
accent than Mia Goth.
You didn't say what we were going to plug, because I was going to say I want you to plug me.
Oh, I did forget one. I'm going to be on Horror Retrospective tomorrow. She's right here in the comments. Look.
Oh shit!
We're going to
Okay.
be talking tomorrow. Sorry, Kira.
Well,
I'm so
What's
sorry.
the topic, Lady
What's your
Sasha?
topic?
We're gonna talk about it's Festival of the Dead, which is
nice.
it's supposed to be a direct sequel to Night of the Living Dead. It's a Tubi original movie.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch that, actually.
Yeah.
No, the ye two kind of ye kick arse when the two ye get
Mhm.
together as well.
Mhm.
So that's definitely check that, and I'll definitely plug that out. And the Cabin in the Woods stuff, because ye had some really cool stuff for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jen, what about yourself?
We just dropped, and it's doing fairly well, even though we have some very different takes than most of the community about Late Night with the Devil. That just dropped. Hopefully Velvet's going to be gone this weekend, but we're going to try to watch the Chucky and maybe get that up, the newest episode.
Possibly might be a new Chucky episode tomorrow.
If not, we have another, and I'm really excited about this review. It's called You'll Never Find
You'll
Me.
never find me.
And we did a really neat skit that I'm super proud of, that I incorporated a Diamond Rio song to it while playing bongos.
Yes. Also,
And it's an art house film.
as you do.
I'm
Also,
very proud of it.
also Tales from the Crypt retrospective will hopefully be returning shortly.
We have it filmed.
That series keeps going on indefinite hiatus, but that's just because life has been very crazy lately. And a few other things. A new Larry Fessenden film about a drunk werewolf is out. We want to talk about that.
Alcoholism.
We have some stuff. Not so much for May, but there's some stuff I want to do for June. There's quite a few movies. Might possibly be returning, doing another queer horror week / all of June, just occasional queer horror movie highlights and stuff, and possible streams, stuff of that ilk. But yeah, just usual stuff, but stuff keeps trucking.
Cool beans. Cool. Myself, I have a couple of videos out today for Alien Day, and I've been trying to do this for the past month. I'm trying to do a video discussing which acts is the better sequel to the thing, the video game or the comics from Dark Horse. So I do that. And I also have a video. I'm thinking about doing a video discussing how future alien movies need to stop casting women with short brown hair as the fucking protagonist. For the
In
love
tank
of
top.
Jesus, you're hobbling yourself. Stop making Ripley clones, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I was
Stop
going to
making
say we
fucking
did that
Ripley
already.
clones and put another character in the fucking franchise. Because
Can I get one in any other flavor?
yeah, no,
Or here's an idea: xenomorphs are aliens, so potentially they can attack anyone's ship.
oh
It
yeah,
doesn't have to be the same people.
yeah. It's
Novel.
that's the one thing I'm like. Everyone was losing their shit because Jen witnessed this. Everyone was losing their shit about the Romulus trailer, and I watched it. And you were like, "What you think?" And I'm like, because I know two things about it. And then I was like, "Okay, this element is cool, but there's way too much nostalgia bait going on, and nostalgia bait does not make a good fucking movie.
No.
Good writing makes a good fucking movie."
A novel concept, sir.
Yeah, I know.
That's the same mistake they made in that Exorcist Believer. The fact
Yes.
that they had that little girl walk into church and not piss on the floor, like if you're doing a nostalgia in the wrong parts,
Remember that.
that should have been. Don't you remember Reagan and the Christmas party? Like,
I don't know. I just think
You're
think
gonna
people
die up
are
there.
like,
Ah,
I
ah.
take it from me, an actual fucking neckbeard dude who's turning 40 in a month. Nostalgia is great in small doses, but like change helps as well, because then you get that's how you get
Mix
fresh
it with
fucking
something
shit.
new. Come on.
Yeah.
And this is why Candyman 2020 is the best update to a classic horror film.
Whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just want to thank everyone who took part tonight. First off, I want to thank my girlfriend for coming up with the idea. Secondly, I want to thank Dice for fucking coming up with the internal idea, and also Lady Sasha, who fucking brought oodles of fucking knowledge to the fucking discussion as well. I think this was an interesting discussion. I think maybe we might try and do this a semi-regular thing, Jen.
That would be fun.
I don't know, but it's with that. I'm going to end it here. But big thanks to everyone in the chat: Cara, Creepy McGee, Tony Man 100. Am I missing anyone? Larry, US X
DMC.
only,
Oh yeah, DMC.
DMC, Gears, LJ.
The guys
but
in the overcoats with their penises hanging out.
Then those lads don't.
You
exist.
saw them too.
They don't-
That
don't
was
exist.
just me.
Oh, Coughlin Crew was in the chat as well. Kubrick Lover, David Vine, and yeah, Rainbow Fright as well. Big thanks to everyone who stopped in. You're all great.
Grazie,
And
grazie.
most of all, big thanks to our fantastic guests. And with that, I'll end it here. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.
Penis.
Be excellent to each other.
Big penis.